trash or wreckage that they're using, like so it's not like Mad Max or Waterworld in that respect, but it's that it's kind of in the
I don't
future,
think
I
I've
guess.
ever seen Waterworld.
Oh man, I saw for the first time. I was stoked. I guess my dad has the extended version on DVD, which was like 45 minutes extra. It's almost 3 hours long, which I love.
Dang.
I loved all the. It was all this kind of world building stuff they cut out to make it faster. And I love that movie, and I really liked watching the extended version, and highly recommend it. But
It's it's it seems like it's been largely regarded as like a flop.
nah, nah.
Eh.
I think it's
What year did it come out? What year
95.
was it?
I saw it in the
Oh,
theaters
it's
when I
that
was
old.
10, and I loved it. And I just grew up loving it, and I never knew it was a flop because I was too young, and there wasn't much entertainment news back then, even if I was older. But I guess it was probably new as a flop then too, but I was too young to realize it was a flop. So I just grew up loving it, and I still just love it.
And back when I was 10, I remember seeing the second Pirates movie.
Go with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that was a long time ago.
I loved that one. I was older then, but I still saw that.
That was a fun film. I laughed a lot during that movie.
I saw different movies that year when I was 10.
It was 2006.
I can see the R ones.
Are you? Did that movie come out in 2011? I have no idea. No, we're not.
Like 98 or 9.
Okay, all right. No, we're not
yeah,
talking about.
I was going to say we already discussed 2011, and I was going to go through the top 10 of like high grossing films worldwide.
Okay, take it away, Arturo.
Here we go. So, number 1 is actually Harry Potter, The Deathly Hallows Part 2. I remember seeing that, I think, the day of,
Yeah, we went with Papa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody was fairly quiet, even the kid.
Yeah.
Little kid.
He mentioned that specifically. Do you remember him talking about how quiet everybody was during the movie?
I know the little girl said maybe 1 or 2 things, but overall she was just quiet. And then I remember after the movie ended.
You're not late, Glenn. We just started, like just a couple minutes ago. You're not late.
I remember when the movie ended, everybody just clapped.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it.
I thought it was a good adaptation. I remember it was July.
Yep.
Well, I think it was a small theater too. We went.
Yes, it was. It was the little theater? It was I think it was. I think it was the little cheapy theater that we went to see it. Yeah. I enjoyed it.
Go there these days, but
oh, yeah. Okay, all right, Arturo. Sorry.
Number
continue.
2, Transformers Dark of the Moon, which I haven't seen.
That surprises me that it's as high as it is on this list.
Number 3?
It's number 2.
Third Transformers, I mean?
I guess
it's worldwide. Remember, China makes
the third one? Isn't this the one with? I think this is the one with Mark Wahlberg, right?
Oh, the fourth.
No. That's the 4th one.
Oh, so this. I'm sorry. So this is
Shia LaBeouf.
Okay, I'm sorry, Simon. I was incorrect. It's the 3rd one with Shia and the new girl.
Mm-hmm.
I just seen it in passing. That's it.
I think I just saw it once.
I
never saw. That's like the one Transformers movie I never saw when it came out.
My favorite is still the first one. I missed the first one. I'm doing good, Tariq. Very busy with work and movie watching and movie talking. I'm going to be on a live stream this Thursday, another channel called Did You See That? Where he does weekly movie discussions. So
like what her dad would usually say, I can't keep up. Number 3 is Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides.
I don't remember what that one's about at all.
That had to do with the Fountain of Youth.
Was that the one with Blackbeard
the
in it?
mermaids, the zombies, Blackbeard.
that's the fourth Pirates.
Yeah.
Okay, so and that's and Blackbeard.
Was Blackbeard, right?
Yeah, he's the dude from Deadwood. Played Blackbeard.
Deadwood.
Yeah.
And I thought there was like two female mermaids that I thought I recognized them from something else.
Gosh, it's been forever since I've seen that movie. And I only saw it once. Cowboys and Aliens, we went to go see that in 2011 when we were in California for my brother's wedding. And it was okay, but I only saw it that once. I never saw it again.
Yeah, I thought it could have been cooler. I mean, it was all right. I mean,
yeah, it was kind of like, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but it didn't make a huge impact on me. There's D. Are you going to add him, Arturo? Hey, D, how you doing?
Hey, how are you?
Doing good.
Good.
Did you see that the part one of our little reaction to Tucker and Dale went up yesterday?
Yes, and what's so funny? You said it went up yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I don't know how I missed it, but then YouTube and these notifications are a mess. But
I know.
But it's so funny. But literally yesterday, because I'm trying and not really succeeding, but trying to edit my favorite films of 2022, and so I was kind of roping in some footage of the School for Good and Evil. And I was as I was editing that, I was thinking about our conversation. I was like, man, I remember when we talked about how much we enjoyed it, and just kind of I remember our dialogue, but I don't remember when. We do all kinds of live streams. We talk and this and that.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, but it was just a random thought. And then today I saw that, and then I kind of because I was on the desk at my job, so I was trying to kind of like hear, but without anybody else hearing.
Being noticeable.
And then I realized that was the same
when we had the conversation. Yeah.
So that's crazy that I was thinking that. Yeah.
That's funny. The timing.
Yes.
Those are such a pain in the butt to edit, but it's funny to go through. And so what I do is when I'm editing those, I know this is a tangent, I just watch your face to see your reaction because I've already seen it. So, I have to just and I pop out the video player so I can hone in on your face and see whenever you shake your head or roll your eyes or grimace or whatever. That's fun. They're fun. I know we do, Arturo. Arturo's reminding me we need to get back to Steins Gate. I know. Okay. Sorry, that was a tangent.
Number 4 is your favorite movie of all time. It's Twilight Saga.
No.
Breaking Dawn.
No.
Your favorite movie. Isn't that right, everybody?
No, we won't talk about it. Well, you guys can talk about it if you want. I'm not going to talk about it. You know how much I hate
moving along. Mission Impossible.
The list I feel like we've talked about all these movies before, like Harry Potter and
yeah, they're like these big Blockbustery. Tariq, I don't have the link yet. I can just give you a link to his channel. Sorry, that's a tangent. I was saying that I'm going to be on a live stream on. Have you been on? Yeah, you've been on his channel before, D. Did you see that his channel?
Oh yeah, you're going to be on?
I'm going to be on Thursday right before I go to watch it. Yeah,
I'm excited.
Are you going to be on Thursday?
No, because my Thursday sucks. So.
Oh no! I did specifically mention that I know you and Lisa, and I would love to be on one that you guys are going to be on. But the day that he had Lisa on, I was going to be gone watching Cocaine Bear.
Right.
I think that was the day. It was something anyway. So I'm looking forward to it. Seems like a fun. It's going to be a fun time.
Good.
Hey, Jeff.
But yeah, Mission Protocol number 5.
Ooh. That movie, Ghost Protocol. That movie made me tense. I don't know about y'all. That scene out on the skyscraper.
I knew that's what you were going to say. I knew it.
It makes me nervous just thinking about it. And I've seen it and I know he's okay, but I got so wound up when Arturo was watching it a couple weeks ago.
Good with the heights. Yeah.
Ooh, no, and to know that he's really doing this stuff, like I know he's the safety, but he's really out there on those buildings.
It's impressive. I couldn't do that with safety stuff. I couldn't.
Oh,
There's no
me
way.
either.
I mean, it is impressive. I think that is a cool thing about Tom Cruise is he does a lot of that.
Yeah,
there's a part of me that's jealous. It's like I'm jealous that he's not scared, or people can do that and not just be terrified, and enjoy themselves, and like it's cool. And I'm just
I don't know where he gets it. He's got some guts, I'll tell you. I just know. I mean, I get scared for him.
Yeah.
And I know nothing happened to him, but I still get very scared when he's doing these things. It's like, yeah.
In that movie, I really like the scene too. Like a memorable scene is when he's got like the fake wall that he's like
yes
the hallway.
Oh
yeah,
that was a cool trick.
My brother liked that one. He specifically, I had told Arturo that how impressed Timothy was with that particular scene. It was really cool.
Yeah.
I think a lot of franchises have like a turning point, and so not that Mission Impossible was ever bad, so to speak, but I think you had the first one, you had the second one, and the third one. And I remember the first one especially because it got parodied because of the whole wires scene. But I think after the first three, I think Ghost Protocol was a little bit of a reset, and then once they were kind of raising the stakes as far as the heights and the locations and the visuals and all that. I think from then on, it's only gotten more intense and more enjoyable for me.
Well, I remember in the second movie, that scene with him hanging on the side of the mountain.
Yes, the rock climbing
opening scene.
Yeah, that made me extremely tense.
Yeah,
but I hate that movie, but I never forgot that scene.
Right.
And was there anything huge like that in the third one?
I just remember the scene where he's like running on the kind of like a freeway bridge or something like that, and then the stuff explodes
Cars
and he gets
are
slammed
flipping
into
around.
the car.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And the ocean bridge.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. What was like the biggest stunt in the third one? Was that ocean bridge it?
I don't remember anything where he's up high in the air like he was in the fourth one.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah.
Y'all looking forward to the next movie in the series?
Oh, yeah.
I watched that YouTube special of him doing the stunt for it.
Yes. The motorcycle stunt. Yeah.
You guys saw it on Twitter?
Yeah. On YouTube, they had this
Oh, I'm afraid to watch it. I just saw little clips of it on Twitter, and I was like, ugh. And then did you see someone saying, hey, nobody should? What was it? Did you respond to that, D, or was it somebody else on Twitter? No, maybe it wasn't you, but someone was complaining about the fact that he was really doing it. They just need to CGI it because it was never worth risking your life for a movie or something like that.
Yeah. What do you think about that, Sam?
I personally would never risk my life for a movie, but you know, it makes a difference because it feels like it gives it a much more authentic weight to it, as opposed to when it's just something that's done with CGI.
I love that other people are doing it. I wouldn't.
I would never don't sign me up.
Do it. Yeah. I'm glad they're doing. I don't want to stop them from doing it because it's awesome.
Yeah, right. Like if that's something that they want to do, and they, whatever. I do appreciate what it takes when they do stuff like that. I was going to respond to Glenn. Glenn, I'm really curious to find out what you think about Cocaine Bear when you see it. I'm going to go see it again tomorrow with Arturo. So, that was a fun film. Have you guys seen it yet?
Waiting for streaming.
Oh, you're waiting for streaming? Okay. Well, I enjoyed Cocaine Bear. Someone mentioned that they felt like that it felt mean-spirited, I guess because of some of the stuff that was happening in there. But what it reminded me of was the sort of violence that happens in Tucker and Dale. And it's horrific and awful, but it's still funny.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's kind of the vibe I got from Cocaine Bear. That's why I was like, people's heads were getting blasted, and it made me laugh. It was funny the way it happened. Maybe in another type of film, like let's say in a Luther movie, it wouldn't be funny.
Right.
But that's a totally different sort of thing. So it's weird how some films can sort of kind of, I don't know, give you a totally different feel when it comes to violence.
Yeah. Oh man. After All Quiet on the Western Front, I feel like Cocaine Bear would be like sigh relief.
Probably. Because it's very comedic. It's gnarly and nasty, some of the stuff that happens, but the way the story's told, it's funny. You just have to see it to know what the heck I'm talking about.
Yeah. Hey, Joan.
Hi, Joan. Oh, I'm going back through some of these. Sorry, Artur, you can carry on. I was going to look at some of these.
Number 6 is Kung Fu Panda 2. Have not seen it as of yet.
I've only seen the first one.
Action. I love Kung Fu Panda. Good action, and Jack Black's a superstar. And Jack Black's a superstar.
Skadoosh. Yeah, I just remember Skadoosh from the first movie.
I forgot. Oh, and I remember that great prison dungeon escape sequence with the villain escaping from the.
Was that the second one?
No, the first. Oh, sorry, no, I meant the first one. That
was such a great sequence, though. Yeah, where he's like jumping off the rocks through the air. That's a great sequence. Yeah.
Gosh, I've forgotten a lot about that movie.
I remember some details still. I remember we saw it that year.
Yeah, we did.
Never saw the second one.
No,
we were procrastinating on that one.
You know, Dulcimerist, I did write down In the Name of the King 2 as a potential watch, but I'd never seen the first one. And
Same.
I did, I didn't realize Dolph Lundgren was in it. There was actually a low budget Dolph Lundgren movie that I saw several years ago that I thought was pretty decent.
Okay.
It was about, oh gosh, I can't remember the name of it. It was about this demon or something that would jump from body to body.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember the setup or any. I just remember that was kind of like, you remember the movie with Denzel? Oh gosh, the one where like the thing would jump from body to body. Oh gosh,
with Denzel?
Yes, and it had John Goodman in it.
The hell, yeah, I saw that movie.
What was the name of that movie? And anyway, the premise kind of reminded me of that, and I thought it was pretty decent. And I can never think of the name when I go to talk about it. But anyway, maybe one day I'll get around to watching In the Name of the King. I like Dolph Lundgren, but yeah, he hasn't been in the.
Is it Fallen?
Yeah, that one.
Oh, okay. I've heard about it, but I haven't seen it.
Oh, you haven't seen it? Oh, okay. So Timothy likes that movie, and he saw one of the actors that was in that movie at a gas station one time.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, he said something to him about like, oh yeah, I saw you in Fallen, whatever. And the guy was like, dang man, that was years ago. Something like that. It was just funny. He would know that, he would remember the conversation better because he was there, but I just thought that was funny. Okay. Yes, I know cocaine definitely, they embellished a whole lot, like pretty much almost everything except for the part that the bear ate cocaine. Right. That was true. That poor bear was stuffed all the way to the, I mean, his stomach was so full of cocaine, but there was only a little tiny bit that made it into his system compared to what he had ingested. I guess it killed him pretty quickly, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Right away.
And his poor little body is stuffed and on display somewhere in Kentucky, I think, because he's like considered some sort of, I don't know, museum piece or something.
Sin, you know what's funny? I actually didn't know that Denzel Washington, because I haven't seen Fallen, but I didn't realize that he and John Goodman had been in a movie before, because as soon as you said John Goodman, I was thinking of the movie Flight, because, they're in that together, too.
Oh, I never saw Flight.
Right.
Okay. Oh, no. This was way before Flight.
Yeah, so they were in, I didn't realize they had starred twice. So, yeah. So
I didn't either, actually.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now I know. Now we both know.
Right.
I'm sorry, Arturo.
Number 7 is Fast 5.
Still the best one. The rest, I can kind of take or leave. But I literally was just watching the 5th one. It just happened to be on TV. I think I was waiting for another show to come on. But I actually will say, I will give it its due on that one, because I feel like that was like the perfect balance between kind of the, the first one was taking itself very like a lot more seriously, which was fine. But it also is kind of like right before they started getting like over the top. It's like right in between. And I kind of wish they had kept more of that grounded grittiness, but with some of the stunts and stuff like that. Because I actually really enjoyed it, especially. I mean, I've always maintained that that's my favorite one. But then watching it like reminded me like, more so because we've seen so much foolishness and since
Have
then.
you seen all of them?
Have I? You know what? The only one I technically haven't seen is 4, because because it was just kind of an odd thing, and then I had heard that a certain character or two got killed, so I was like, I don't know if I need to go see this, and I wasn't really big on. Like I said, I've never really been big on the series because even with the first one, even before all the silly stuff, I'm not a big car person. So with street racing and the cars as the focus, I was kind of like, and I was young too, so. I probably would have had a little more patience for it if I was older, but yeah. So I was never super into it, but yeah, Fast and Furious, which is the 4th one before they did Fast 5. That's the only one I haven't seen.
Okay, but so you think the 5th one is the best?
In my opinion, yeah.
That's funny. Who was in that one? Was Paul Walker still in that one? He was, wasn't he?
Yeah. That's when they first introduced The Rock.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. All right. I'm just thinking about this whole feud going on between The Rock and Vin Diesel. I was like, okay.
I know, that's also funny because I'm like, dang, that's before all of that, went
all
down.
that drama.
Yeah.
What happened? Like, what happened?
I don't know. I have a feeling it's two big egos that don't.
It is egos
that clash, and there's at this stage in the game, I have I'm not into Vin Diesel, but I'm getting tired of The Rock. So at this point, I'm kind of starting to think that maybe The Rock was the whole problem. I have no idea. I don't know.
Yeah, I've been on a decline with The Rock. Like, I don't like just heavily dislike the man, but I think because I actually mentioned it and I'm only saying this because I'm here, but in one of my disappointing films, which is obvious, I mentioned that my biggest issue with Black Adam is that not only is it not really a great movie, but it's just that whatever that character is supposed to represent, I don't know a whole lot about Black Adam, but from what I've heard, it's like that character and what The Rock is doing, just doing what The Rock does is two completely different things. So that's kind of what frustrated me. It's like now that he's on board, it's about I'm doing the thing I always do and everything else. So.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know if my brother Tim has seen Black Adam, but Shazam is his favorite comic book character. Mm-hmm. And he was disappointed in the Shazam movie because he felt like it was too comedic and kind of clowny and silly, and I totally get where he's coming from because Shazam is not necessarily like that in the comics. But I think he was hoping that Black Adam would be maybe an improvement. There was one part in Black Adam that I really liked. It was the part where he, was awakened.
Oh yeah, it was great.
And was kicking ass. But that, I mean, and it was okay, but it felt kind of like like Ant-Man and the Wasp. It was it's not the worst movie I've ever seen, but it's not that it wasn't that great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, DC and Marvel are kind of like in this decline stage right now. I'm kind of starting to move away from Marvel a bit more than I used to. I think the last one I'm probably going to see will be Guardians 3. And after that,
I'm looking forward to Kraven. I have to say. Kraven the Hunter. I don't know. This is something that Dee should answer for you, Dulcimerist.
Here's the thing. I think kind of depends on what type of person you are. Like, I think that if you can kind of get into things being kind of silly and ramped up and over the top and kind of going with that, which I can sometimes. It depends on my mood. Like, sometimes I can roll with that. Other times I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this? So yeah, it's just, but you have to really let go of your like the whole suspension of disbelief. You have to like throw that completely. That has to be out the window. So I think, like I said, 5 is a good. I think maybe like 3 and 5, the first. Like if you want something a little bit more grounded, I'm guessing probably the 4th one. But past 5, just know that it's bananas. So if you can hang with that, cool. If not, then I would just keep it to maybe like a couple or a few of them, and then just leave it.
Yeah, I have just never been interested in them. Maybe I'll check out some of the ones that you mentioned, D, just because, but I don't know. We'll
Yeah.
see. This was funny. I just saw this comment.
Too bald. Oh man.
Yeah, I know he did. Poor thing. That poor bear. Actually, I don't know if it was a boy bear or a girl bear in real life. In the
Right.
movie, it's a girl.
Oh, so I didn't know
Yeah.
that. Okay.
I
Interesting.
assumed it was a boy the whole time until
Right.
there's a scene where he's like I'm calling it he. The bear falls on top of a character and just like there and he calls it a girl and they said how do you know it's a girl? And he said, because her vagina is on my ear.
Oh my god.
It was crazy. Okay, all right. I'm getting
number 8 is number 8 is the Hangover Part 2. Never seen it.
I don't even remember what that was about, and I think I saw it, but I don't remember.
Yeah, same here.
I've never really gotten all the way through the first one, and not because it was necessarily bad. It's just like one of those films that kept hovering around, and I kept trying to watch it with people, or it's just stuff just kept coming up, and I never got a chance to really watch it all the way through. I remember that whole scene where the guy jumps out of the trunk, and a few other things, but I would have to like go back and really watch it like in full.
I remember, wasn't Mike Tyson in the first one, or was that the second? Okay, and there was a tiger, and the guy got his tooth.
There was a tiger.
Yeah, a guy got his tooth knocked out. I don't remember much else.
Right. And they did 3.
Oh, they did 3?
Mm-hmm.
Were the same people in the third one?
Oh yeah, I think it's the same cast in each one from what I remember. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I don't think I've seen. I didn't even know they'd.
I don't get why this is on the list, but the Smurfs.
Don't know. I guess because it's a kids movie. I don't know.
Anyways, moving along, and then Cars 2 at number 10.
Oh, I heard that was bad. That was like the first big Pixar, like
reviews. Yeah, made money, but
critically, it was like, what's this? Yeah.
I don't think did we ever see that one, Arturo? I don't think we did.
No.
I remember hearing how bad it was. I never even saw the third one.
Oh, I forgot they did a third one. Yeah, they did do a third one.
And I think that one was supposed to have been better than the second one. Yeah. But I just never saw it.
Yeah. I think the first one was kind of one of those where it was like, I was still working in the movie theater then. So that's really why I ended up seeing it. Because I wouldn't have thought about going to see it otherwise. But it was kind of an odd, quirky kind of film, but it was something interesting about that, like the kind of the world they built with the cars and all that. So, yeah, it was more interesting. I think it was a little more interesting and a little more heartfelt than I thought it would be. I think I thought it was gonna be weirder than it actually was, but yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for the high growth.
That's the top 10.
Well, worldwide, it's different in America, but I don't know.
I'm sorry, I'm distracted by this comment about the hand gesture to show support was what Diamond Dallas Page used to do. The only thing I know about Diamond Dallas Page is that he does like a yoga workout series that I bought that I've only done a few workouts in. And I remember there's this move in yoga called Happy Baby. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, but basically, you know how babies that when they're on their back, they grab their little feet. Oh, they're like, so it's called Happy Baby. So he calls that move Happy Porn Star. Like, okay, way to butcher yoga. It's like, all right. That's all I think about now when I think about Diamond Dallas Page.
So that we also saw Unknown with Liam Neeson.
Yes, we did.
Okay, so 2 was bad apparently. Roblox, what made it bad? If you don't mind, saying, I'm curious.
Said the original was great and the third was good, but 2 stunk. Gosh, I don't remember anything about 2.
Yeah.
It obviously didn't stick. Maybe he'll answer the question. I'm a little behind on some of the comments here. The Hangover films are terrible. No offense, but American movies made. Well, I thought the first one was kind of funny. There were some moments that were funny, but I'm not in love with it. But it's just comedy movies. I'm not super crazy about most comedy
I think
movies.
that's what's going on with Square Enix right now.
What's that?
I was just saying, well, like what his comment was saying. Sorry, it's relating to video games.
Happy baby is. Okay. I'm not sure how I should. Okay. I went to do goat yoga.
Oh my gosh, I've seen goat yoga before.
What is goat yoga? What is it?
It's like yoga, and they'll have like these little baby. Well, at least the one I saw, it was like little baby goats, and they'll hop up on the backs of people and just kind of just be person.
It's like what my dogs do. My dogs have jumped up on me when I'm doing yoga, like I'm trying to do down dog or whatever, and I'm an up dog, and they're on my back. It's like, get off.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Anybody seen The Adjustment Bureau?
I did.
Did you like that? I never got a chance
to see it.
Is that a human movie?
Was it bland?
It that was the one with was Matt Damon and Emily Blunt.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It had an interesting premise, but I don't know.
Wait, Emily Blunt was in it?
Yeah, she was in it. She played a ballerina, I think. And I forget the premise. Wasn't it something about? Oh gosh, what was the premise?
I forgot the movie. I remember thinking it would be cool because the premise was some kind of like sci-fi.
Yeah,
but
it was.
I feel like it was forgettable. I don't remember the movie.
Yeah, it was forgettable. See, I don't remember a ton about it. I remember that I wasn't super crazy about it. I don't know. But maybe it was just me.
I guess the manipulation of like chance events. It seems almost like it's something kind of related to the future about like manipulating certain things.
Yeah, it was. But it wasn't anything that I think Minority Report was better. But okay. I don't want to do yoga with baby goats hopping on me though. Okay, he's answered your question. It was about a wedding in Thailand.
That was my fun around town. It's about time.
Oh, so instead of a baby this time, it was like a little monkey. Okay.
Yeah.
Yoga with rats. No, I've never done yoga with my rats. We never let our rats run around the house because our dogs would probably kill them.
Ooh,
so I was when I was referring to my animals, I was talking about the dogs. Like sometimes I'll be, doing shavasana, lying down at the end, and Chibi or Chica when she was alive would crawl on top of my belly and just like look at me right here. And I look and there's this little face right in front of me.
Well, sometimes there was that one time she just came up and licked you, did a quick sneak attack.
Yeah, because they know I don't like licks in the face, so she's like strike like a cobra.
I had to remind myself that you had rats when they first said that. I was like, oh, you mean like being at a yoga studio with like a rat infestation? Like I've totally forgot. Two different things. Sorry.
Yeah, we had rats. Unfortunately they don't last very long. They don't.
Why is that? Is it just their lifespan, or
their lifespan is just not very long in general? Which it's kind of crazy. So like with dogs, the smaller the dog, the longer they can tend to live. But with rats, it's like they're so tiny, but they have only an average lifespan of maybe 2 to 3 years.
Oh wow! See, I didn't know that.
we've lost a lot of rats, a lot. So you do kind of get used to it after a while, but yeah, it's not fun. Team America. Oh, yeah, that's right. That was from another.
Then of course Rango.
That's a terrible movie.
Is it really?
No, Team America. It's like so nasty.
It's awesome. It's a great movie.
And I remember hearing about that, and I was just like, the R-rated puppets? Wow.
Oh, yes. They were doing all sorts of things. It's crazy.
Then there's Rango, which
I like
me,
Rango.
my sister, and
cousin never have seen this
Sin has
yet.
not even seen it
either.
at all. It's like a Western inspiration.
Yeah.
It's got even like a Clint Eastwood character in there.
It's weird because I mean it's like a kids cartoon movie, but it's a little bit more. I don't know. It's not as like Disney Pixar, I guess. It feels like
gritty.
Right?
Yeah.
Almost, it kind of reminds me of some of the older like cartoon movies I've watched as a kid that were like it's like non-traditional. It's CG. Whereas the CG, I see CG and I automatically think like it's like there's like 2 or 3. It's like Pixar did that big general category of that like kid stuff with a little adult humor. But I feel like Rango is just a little bit different. I don't know.
I just remember there's this scene where it isn't like this big bird comes. And is that what it is, Arturo? And then he like turns around and walks away really quick, and the way he's talking is so funny. I
remember that scene where he's but I don't. It's
he
been
like
so
turns
long.
away.
The only time I saw it was in the movie theater, and that was it. I have not seen it since then. I wouldn't mind watching it again.
I wanted to watch it. I had it bolded in the list, and then I forgot.
I remember if I can remember correctly, I do think the quality of the movie was really good.
Oh yeah, and the voice acting was good too.
Well, yeah, but like Planet of the Apes, still the quality looks good for a 2011 movie. It was the same with Rango.
I mean, this is kind of off topic, but I'm looking at the list of movies for 2011. I don't know if you guys look at like IMDb, where it's like lists movies from that year. So I'm looking at IMDb, and I was like, how far does this go? And 8,600 movies that year.
Oof.
It's like, damn, I didn't know they're making and I guess it's worldwide and stuff.
Probably, yeah. I'm just looking at the list on Wikipedia, 2011 in film. That's generally where I go, and they have a list of like.
This one there has pictures, and that helps me remember.
Oh, the pictures help you remember.
Yeah.
And there was Battle Los Angeles.
That had Michael Pena in it, I think.
I think so.
Yeah, because he was
I
also.
That was your brother's favorite movie of that year.
Battle Los Angeles.
Yeah, from what I remember, when we were over in California at the time, I remember he was talking about it. But I remember it was more intense than anything.
I've seen it once.
Wanting to think that and not thinking that. Like I wanted to think it would be an intense movie that I love, and then I don't know. I don't know if it was the aliens. It didn't really. I don't remember really.
Oh, Tifa. Sorry.
I remember it was pretty good. It's just been a while. Girl from Fast and Furious is in there.
I might check it out again.
Another soldier.
She's so loud.
Wait, is it really picking it up?
Yes, I can hear it through your microphone. She just jumped out of my lap and ran. I don't know what she's yelling at.
Red Riding Hood. Anybody heard of that movie?
Cartoon kids movie?
No,
it's a live. It's American romantic horror film.
I think I saw. Does this have Amanda
Seyfried?
Oh, produced by Leonardo DiCaprio, huh?
Yeah, Amanda, that girl.
Yeah, Seyfried. Yeah, her. Mm-hmm.
I saw it once. Did
you like it, or was it just okay?
I think I felt like it was just okay.
Okay.
But I don't remember a ton about it. There's a lot of films that sometimes if I rewatch them, my view might change a little bit.
Right.
But typically, if I'm underwhelmed by a film, I don't usually return to it. So.
Oh man, where have I seen this girl from? She might be that British. Is she British?
No, I don't think so.
No, she's not.
Oh, Mean Girls, Les Mis.
Jennifer Spotting.
In Time. Yeah.
Yeah, he hasn't. You probably seen her in trailers or something, Arturo. Maybe you've seen her stuff that I've watched because I've watched stuff before with her in it, and maybe you've come in the room. And
Amanda Seyfried.
I'm trying to find a movie that she was. I thought I saw her in, but there's a lot. Oh, she's in House. Oh.
What, the show?
The show House.
I just watched the movie with her. It wasn't that good though. It's called
Which one?
with Clive Owen. is like a sci-fi. So many sci-fi movies I watch because they'll start off cool, but then by the end, it just felt like they squandered it. They kind of.
So speaking of anime, we did see Children Who Chase Lost Voices. This came out this year.
Yeah, we saw it yesterday.
Yeah, the guy that worked on Your Name worked on that.
Yeah, it was okay. It was all right.
I thought it was pretty good. I know it grossed Sin out. Like some of the.
Well, there were some parts that were nasty to me.
I didn't find nothing nasty about it. It was all good.
Okay, so there is a word for this, but like if there's like these little growths or something on someone's skin or holes in someone's
You're
skin.
talking about I have the same thing. You're talking about trypophobia.
Okay, that. I can't stand it. It makes me.
I get that. I get that. Like I feel the same, but in that stuff, in that perspective, that doesn't.
And I was like, oh, that's gross. I don't like those things on his side.
So what did it look like?
Well, in this one, it wasn't holes on this particular. There was another creature that had like these holes,
sort of
but it had like
fish flesh or something.
You know what it looked like? It looked like a bunch of swollen ticks sticking out of it.
Oh,
that was nasty. I know, right?
Ooh.
See.
I don't like that. I don't think many people. I don't like that stuff. Yeah.
Well, that was gross, and I was just complaining about it the whole time, and Arturo thought I was a nut.
Of how you were just complaining about it. Overall, the art style was good. It had that quality, like from Your Name, but then again, it's made by the same like the same guy that made Your Name worked on that. So, understandably, yes. I thought it was pretty good.
That word, Joe, exactly.
Then there's The Lincoln Lawyer.
Great movie.
So, have you seen the series yet?
Hey,
no,
Matt.
I have not.
Hello.
Hey, Matt.
Hey.
We're in the middle of the discussion. So the series, I have not. Have you?
No, my mom watched it and she said it was great. So I've heard great things about it.
My brother said
you'll have to check
good.
it out and let me know what you think since you've seen the film.
I will, because I've been watching Bosch. So I don't know if you know, but Bosch and The Lincoln Lawyer, they're connected.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
Okay, so the series is written by the same author, Michael Connelly, and Bosch, the character of Bosch, and the character of the Lincoln Lawyer, they're half brothers. In the stories, yeah. So
cool.
I heard that they have the series. My brother said it's good. I'm kind of bummed that they didn't recast Matthew McConaughey. They cast somebody else, but I've heard that the story's good, and I will watch it at some point. And the Raid Redemption, was that the first one, or is that the second one?
I think the first one was just The Raid.
Okay, I haven't seen Redemption, but I've heard it's really good. The Raid was good. The choreography was just insane. Have you seen that, Colin?
No, I need to give The Raid a second chance, and I never saw the second one, so I should watch it. I never have, because it got such good reviews, and I saw it, and I was like, it's no Tony Jaa movie, but I feel like it probably was it was good and worth watching again, though.
I thought the fight choreography was insane.
Wait, what are we talking about?
The Raid.
The Raid.
But he had mentioned The Raid Redemption was a 2011 film, and I have not seen that one, and I've been meaning to see it. I just haven't yet. Oh, is that your dog, Matt?
Yeah. I may actually have to get off. I just took him out of the crate, and I didn't realize I thought he was going to go back to sleep.
Oh no, he wants to join the live stream.
I don't want to be rude to anybody else. I will.
Show us the boy.
Oh my gosh, he's so big.
Yeah.
And he's still a puppy.
He is.
Oh my goodness. So we're doing Cocaine Bear tomorrow, right, Matt?
Yes.
Okay. The 7:05 or 7:15?
It's up to whatever you guys want.
Okay. I have business meetings tomorrow.
Something.
Yeah, there's two.
So Matt, right just before you popped in, we were talking about an anime movie. I got Sin to watch Children Who Chase Lost Voices. You want to add something to that?
Wait, which one?
Children Who Chase Lost Voices.
Oh yeah, I've seen that one. I have the original, the Sentai release of it. I think G Kids re-released it now with all the creators' other works.
Yeah.
Because like he did what was it, 5 seconds per centimeter, Places, Promising Your Early Days, Voices of a Distant Star, She and Her Cat. But I like that one. The whole under, like going under the earth with
Shambhala.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there was the sun. They were under the earth, but there was still sun. That made no sense to me.
Okay. No, it's like that movie with what's his name? Brendan Fraser.
Who?
The guy from The Mummy. What's his name? Brendan Fraser.
The Journey to the Center of the Earth.
Yeah, it's like that.
Yeah,
it's like that. Or it's like Godzilla versus Kong. It's just like
Sashi. Okay, so
that crazy movie.
Sashi's probably right.
Okay,
I believe Sashi.
So Redemption was the first raid? Okay.
But I wanted to go back to Lincoln Lawyer. I actually really did like that movie.
That was
well paid.
That was really good. Phil says that he feels like Lincoln Lawyer was only good because of Matthew McConaughey. I thought the
writing was good.
Yeah, I read the book. I mean, I listened to the book. When I was so caught up in that story, that was the audiobook I was listening to that made me completely miss my exit. I was on my way to pick up my brother from the airport, and there was this climactic moment happening, and I just go, phew, right on past the exit. And I was like, that's really dangerous, actually, listening to an audiobook, because you get really caught up in it. But I never forgot that. And then, a few years later, it was announced they were making the movie. And I saw the movie, and I was super impressed because I felt like it was a really, really good adaptation of the book.
That's good, because that's hard to do.
Yes, it is. It is hard. And I love those books. Michael Connelly is one of the more solid authors I've ever listened to. He's just very consistent. And I love the Bosch series. I love the Lincoln Lawyer series because there's other books. There are also other side character books. And then, of course, they have done the Bosch series. And then they brought Titus Welliver in. And I did not see him as Bosch at all in my brain. So when they cast him, I was like, no. But then I watched the show and he's fine. And now he's narrating the audiobooks.
Oh, wow.
So that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Anyway. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Arturo. I'm trying to catch up with the comments here.
Well, there's a classic comedy for this year.
Which was what?
Let's see.
Bridesmaids.
Oh, okay.
Well, Colin was getting ready to mention something, hun.
Bridesmaids.
All right.
You guys see
Bridesmaids.
Oh, that was this year. It was. Wow.
Classic, really good comedy classic.
I feel like I was wanting to introduce that to Arturo, and I'm not into comedy, but that movie was crazy.
It had that actress's name.
That was the first movie that I think I saw Melissa McCarthy. That's her name, right?
Yeah,
that's her.
Her. Yeah, oh my gosh.
She wasn't the star. She was like a support. She kind of was a supporting.
But she was funny.
Stole the scene. Yeah.
She was like the best part of the whole movie.
Wasn't there like a scene where she said something about she put a loaded gun in the purse or something?
Yes, she put the loaded gun in the person's luggage, like when they were going to go through the airport, so that they were going to get pulled over by security, and she thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, Melissa McCarthy is so funny.
She was so funny in that movie. She just made that film.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? The first thing I actually saw Melissa McCarthy in, and I feel like I can't remember if I remembered her then or if I had to circle back around. But have you seen the first, the 2000 Charlie's Angels?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. So that scene so there's a scene where they're infiltrating that lab, and Lucy Liu's character is dressed in the all black leather, and she has the guys following them. And so the lady who was basically introducing her and walking with her and like kind of talking her ear off, that's Melissa McCarthy.
I completely didn't even know that was so I didn't notice her at all in that movie. Like, she stuck out for me in Bridesmaids.
Right. You wouldn't know. I don't think any of us would have known her then, but it's funny. It's like one of those things where you don't realize it and then you circle back. You're like, is that person? Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. And then of course, Simon mentioned Sucker Punch, which I didn't get a chance
I love
to see.
Sucker Punch. Wait, did Simon? I think I mentioned it because Simon mentioned that.
Or did you mention it?
Yeah, I think it was Colin.
Yeah, I would.
It was Colin mentioned it, but I was curious if he actually watched it.
I own it.
No, I didn't see it. Yeah, it was on the
I,
list. But
I thought
we didn't
about
watch
seeing
it.
it. I thought
I
about
did
seeing
too.
it, but we just didn't get around to it.
Yeah,
It's
it
Zack
looked like a
Snyder
mess.
worked on that one.
Yeah, it looked like a mess. I remember thinking it looked kind of like a mess, like a hodgepodge when I saw the trailers. But all these years later, I ended up watching it myself. I was surprised. I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was a bizarre kind of concept the way they did it, but it was something really cool about like the action sequences and the way they visualize these different kind of fantasy worlds. You know, one sci-fi and one steampunkish and all that kind of stuff. I actually thought it was kind of a cool kind of reality versus fantasy thing. That was the part that kind of stuck out for me.
I really liked it. Yeah,
It
had great action and great soundtrack edited with the action. Some really cool sequences with the audio visual. Just felt really good, and it was almost kind of sad. I thought the story wasn't bad.
Yeah,
I mean, because it was like this crazy girl in this asylum for crazy people, but she kind of got there through this tragedy, and it was like their way of like coping with how shitty their lives were, is like imagining themselves as these badass warriors.
Oh, so it's all in their head.
Yeah, it's all in their head.
Hey, you just gave it away.
Do crazy shit.
Are
you serious?
All in there.
Well, that's not that. Well, I'll say this: that's not the reveal. It's not like a final.
Okay.
Like if you were to watch the trailer,
that's how the movie starts.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah. If you saw the trailer,
okay,
you would. Yeah, but if you saw the trailer, you would kind of know it from that.
The opening of the movie is actually really sad. It's basically this girl. I won't get into the whole thing, but it's really sad, and she ends up in this asylum for crazy girls, and she doesn't really deserve to be there. And
it's a Zack Snyder, right?
Yeah.
Zack Snyder. And does it have? I always felt like it had the look of 300.
It has a very stylistic.
Yeah, it's very stylized like that.
CG.
Okay.
And I think you should at least see it for Oscar Isaac because that is such a 180. As far as he plays a very foul, very sadistic character.
Isaac.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's good in there. And I love this, like the Queen song remix while they're performing for the old dude with the cigar. And it just turns. There's some great song visual sequences in that movie that I think it's worth watching. It's entertaining to watch.
Okay.
Story, I don't know.
It kind of reminds me of like these badass anime female fighter characters. That's what that movie reminds me of.
Yeah. I mean, if you could sit through whatever that Zack Snyder zombie movie that came out was.
Oh, but that was
not a good
movie.
I'm still mad about that movie.
Why? See, I never saw it. Why was it?
Gosh,
it was so bad. It's hard to explain. But it's almost
go watch this review or my review. It's not good.
I was so pissed that I was angry. I was actually angry when I saw that movie. And then Arturo and I, we go home and we do this review, and I'm talking about I took notes. I have notes.
You were complaining even in the movie.
I was complaining in the movie theater. I was starting to talk to the screen. It was, there weren't a lot of people there. But
you and me, we were the only ones in that room.
I think we were. That's why it was being very loud with my annoyance.
What was the turning point for you, Sin? When did you feel like it was going downhill?
It was when stupid crap was happening, like
Just
Tur, do you remember? I remember one.
I know when the girl wanted. I know when his daughter wanted to go rescue that friend from the camp.
I remember one thing that really annoyed the hell out of me was when they were crunched for time and they stopped to have this romantic moment.
Oh,
they
no.
were. Like, you remember that part? Arturo was like, "What are they doing? A bomb's gonna. What are you doing?" It was just. I remember that pissed me off so much.
TikTok.
Well, Iron Herder, I was meaning to respond to this. Sorry, I hit the camera. Was making the camera jump. I'm glad you enjoyed the Rubber Duckies award show. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you enjoy it, Sin? You know, you got to present and everything.
I did, and I was doing this, and you know what I meant to do when I was going to announce the winner? I meant to say, I even wrote down a line, something about she wanted to show us the magic of the everything bagel, you know, or something like that.
Oh,
And
that would have been good.
I totally forgot to do that. But that was great. I thought Lisa's was
Lisa
awesome.
blew it.
It's like,
I said it in the chat. I was like, we need a Rubber Duckies award for Lisa, just for her presentation.
And she had told me, because I hit her up and I hit you up for advice,
Right.
because I was like, I don't know, I'm not creative at all. I'm not a performer. And she said, you know, most of the ones on this list I haven't even seen, so I don't even know what I'm going to do. And then I'm watching it and it's like, oh, hush, Lisa.
Right.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Fine. Anyway, sorry, that was a tangent, but that was fun. That was a lot of fun.
It was.
Insidious.
Oh, Insidious came out this year.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
They have how many movies? 3 now?
I thought there were 2. Oh,
are they coming out with a 3rd?
Wait. Oh, I was thinking it's Sinister. Insidious has, I think, 4.
Oh,
they're coming out with like a 5th.
Oh.
Of Insidious?
I think.
Is this the one with Patrick Wilson in it?
Yes.
Or is that Sinister? Okay, and I get those two mixed up, y'all.
Which is funny because he's also in the Conjuring.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Okay.
I think I prefer The Conjuring, but that's just me.
Yes.
I saw bits of Insidious.
Yeah, Phil, I am starting to get a little tired of them. They're just not packing the same punch that they used to for me.
I heard the 3rd one wasn't great.
Looking back, I was looking at the Marvel timeline recently, and I think it was like after Avengers 4, it was almost perfect timing for not perfect timing. It was coincidental that Avengers 4 kind of put a cap on the whole thing, and then the next year was COVID, and there was no Marvel movies, and then 2021 they came back with like Black Widow and the Eternals and Shang-Chi, and since then I've just felt like I don't care anymore. Like it was like fun up to Avengers 4, and then after that it was like, all right, now you can keep going and I'll probably watch some of them, but it's
well, we got Spider-Man. We had Spider-Man that same exact year that Endgame came out.
That was good. Yeah.
Wait, which Spider? Which Spider-Man?
No Way Home came out this. Or wait,
you talking Far From Home?
Yeah, Far From Home.
Far From Home.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Was that the last Marvel movie of that year, or am I mistaken?
I think you're right. I think Avengers, and then at December they had a Spider-Man movie, and that was like the official end of that, era. And then
it came out in July.
I thought Avengers Endgame was the end of like Phase 3.
Yeah.
I think Phase 4 might have been Spider-Man.
Yeah, but Far From Home was after, because I forgot it was him dealing with Tony's passing and all that. I forgot all about that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, Endgame was the peak. To
me,
really, I don't think
kind of the peak, and
yeah,
I feel like I don't know. They're not ever going to get that level.
No, I don't think so.
Aren't they trying to build up to a new Avengers?
It doesn't have the same feel to it. I think they're trying to build Kang up as like, sort of a Thanos type equivalent as far as the big baddie. It just doesn't feel the same.
Yeah, and I think it's unfortunate because I think Jonathan Majors has the makings of a good villain. He's the right person for that kind of role, but everything else surrounding him, he can't carry the whole thing himself. So that's the problem.
Yeah, no.
Like I think he could do a good villain, but I don't know. It's most of these movies now. It's like been there, done that, seen it before. Nothing new. I will say if they make a Ghost Rider movie, I will see that. But Blade, I would see, but
I'm hearing bad stuff about it.
I have been hearing bad stuff about it for a while. As soon as I heard Mahershala Ali was cast, I was not interested.
Oh, you were already out, yeah.
I was like checked out, and then the more I hear, the more I'm convinced it's not going to be.
Wasn't there like film problems?
Yeah, and writer problems and director. Didn't the director leave? And it's just like, just bring Wesley Snipes back and give us an R-rated Blade, please. Thank you.
Yes. Because I
And
can't
that's
really
kind
see
of my
Blade
bigger
being a
issue is that we know it's not going to
PG-13
have that same tone as the original. It's
No.
not going to be there.
I heard that they're still keeping Deadpool rated R, so I'm thinking to myself, well, you might as well just make Blade rated R. Make it a
I don't
gory.
know what the heck. I don't know.
Just make it a gory Blade movie.
They already tried a PG-13 Deadpool, and it didn't really work out too well.
Yeah,
that
that's
was
what I'm
that-
saying. Yeah,
That Christmas.
yeah,
Yeah,
that Christmas thing.
Well,
yeah, I saw.
I heard
glimpses
about
of it.
that.
I was talking about X-Men Origins.
You were watching
Wait, what?
X-Men Origins?
No,
you
no,
mean
or Wolverine, X-Men Origins.
Oh, that one. Oh, that one.
They
was
have Deadpool
awful.
in there as a PG-13
Oh,
character.
I
Yeah.
thought you were talking about that happy
The Christmas
the
one.
hot,
yeah.
that
yeah.
Christmas one.
That's
Okay.
still the R-rated movie censored to be PG-13.
Yeah, and it was
Yeah.
not good.
X-Men
It was not-
Origins, it's PG-13.
Yeah,
That
Origins is.
not good.
I've never. I mean, even when I first saw it, I was like, "What is this?" I have always maintained that movie was a mess. Like, and I'm usually cool with I because I love X-Men as a universe and like the characters, the powers, like the backstory. I've always enjoyed that. But that's the one that it gives me the blues the most because it's just like from
speaking of
the rest of those to that, it's a mess.
First Class came out in 2011.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't even write that down. I actually
like
liked
that.
First Class.
I thought
like
First
it
Class
too.
was great.
Yeah,
too.
I did too.
And mainly because of Scott McAvoy and Michael Fassbender as
Yeah.
Magneto and Professor. Like,
Yeah.
you know, that was kind of what made it work for me.
And they
Yeah.
redid that whole scene in the concentration camp again from the
Yeah.
2000. Except they put a color filter to fit with that movie. Because if
Yeah.
you compare the two opening scenes, the first one was kind of like this grayish blue color, and then in First Class it's like this grayish brown black color. Completely changed
Yeah.
it.
It had been like what, actually, yeah, it was about a decade
A
or like 11
decade,
years since they did the first
yeah.
one. So they had to expand upon that scene and they couldn't obviously use the same people anymore. Yeah.
I still think the X-Men haven't reached their full potential on screen.
No.
And I hope we one day see the X-Men. I hope this animated series gets, maybe the X-Men could be the next cool thing the Marvel.
I do need to read the comics. Like I have all these like 90 comics of X-Men that my uncles had.
Some are better than others. It really depends on who was the writers at the time and what,
I just like the art style from that time.
I like the art style from
style's
when I
good,
used to read them.
Yeah, see, back in Sin's day,
Way back in my day.
when comics were comics.
When they were actually good. I was going to answer this question. I have not seen this anime film, but I didn't know if maybe it was something that Matt had heard of.
Yeah, I own it.
Yeah, I've heard
Of
of it
course
too.
you do.
It's the year. Is it the year before the Japanese Olympics? After World War II? It's all about dealing with like post-war Japan.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And it's
Oh, Miyazaki?
It's his son. His son did the film.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wait. Is this the one that you were talking about at work, or am I mistaken for something else?
This is the one where I think Miyazaki walked out on when he saw it for the first time. And said it wasn't worth his time.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
You guys were in the movie theater together?
Yep.
Yeah, they work
Nice.
they work together.
Yep.
Yeah. Huh. Okay.
Oh yeah.
I
It's
didn't know it
not
came out.
bad. It's not the same quality of some of Miyazaki's like actual stuff. His son's quality or his son's style is a little different.
Well,
Have I
especially
seen
that-
any of his films? Any of their films?
Mostly
It's
just
Tales of
Miyazaki.
Earthsea, On Top of Potpourri Hill, and Earwig and the Witches.
I've
you may have-
heard of
you may have-
Earwig and the Witches, but no, I've never seen it.
Yeah.
I think I've seen some of the house movies just in passing, like just playing on the TV while I'm working. I couldn't tell you much about them.
Yeah, see, if COVID had hit 1 year earlier, it would have fucked the whole Avengers thing up.
Yeah, it would have.
They're so lucky they got that in right before.
Right.
Because
I remember how excited I was to go see that. I went to go see it first showtime on Thursday. And I remember I took a picture of the ticket and I was showing my boss, and he was like, "Oh, you're gonna go see it before me."
Wait, what movie?
Like, Avengers Endgame.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How early did you see it?
Say what?
How early did you see it?
The very first showtime on Thursday. I think it was like maybe 3:00. Or
okay. Oh, I think I did the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't wait. I'm going, and I wasn't even doing. Oh, you know what? It was 2019, right?
You weren't doing YouTube then?
I was doing YouTube, but I don't think I did a review of. I don't remember that I did a review of Endgame. I think my very first review was for maybe It Chapter 2.
Oh wow, and that's so funny because that's the first time I used.
No. I think you were doing reviews like maybe late spring, early summer, because you reviewed Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, maybe that was one of my first ones. I remember I reviewed It Chapter 2, and I remember I wasn't super happy with that.
Ooh, they messed that one up.
Yeah, they did. They did.
Yeah, they were clowning around.
Okay, so Matt has these terrible puns that he likes to throw around. Whenever I watch a movie and I come out of the theater, if he's there and he sees me, he asks me some question that has a pun in it that has something to do with the film, and it's so bad.
So what's Cocaine Bear, Matt?
I can't remember what he asked me for Cocaine Bear.
I'm trying to think.
That's all.
I don't want to say too much because I've been cleaning at the end credits.
Oh yeah, don't say too much.
And there's a little sound effect at the ending that's kind of funny.
Oh, okay. I think we need to stay for that one.
So I'm not gonna. I don't even know if it's in. I haven't seen the film, so I don't even know if it's in there.
I just know Matt's quote for clowning around was around the time Joker came out. Clowning around.
Oh, yeah.
Scream 4 came out as well this year.
Was this the one with Emma Roberts in it?
Yeah, and Hayden Panettiere.
Oh, her. Okay.
Those two.
She's coming back for.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got my tickets for that
I
already.
Do too.
I'm gonna go see that. When does that come out? Is that next week?
Yeah, on my birthday. Well, yeah, but technically pre-shows are on my birthday.
Yeah, I'm gonna go see that. And I was telling Simon before the stream started, I'm gonna go see that Guy Ritchie film on Thursday.
Oh, the Operation.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
Simon has been very quiet. Is he on that stuff? He better not be on that.
He said he was a little bit high before the stream started.
Yeah, I'm just chilling out.
Okay. I'm afraid to ask you about any movies for fear of insane cackling.
Shush.
Okay, Arturo, what other films did you want to mention? I have a bunch written down here.
I know you haven't seen this then.
What?
The only time I saw this movie was when we were coming back from California. And I remember we were staying up all night while that movie was playing. Water for Elephant.
Oh, was that? Wow, that was a 2011 film. I never saw that.
Seems like it was later on. Wow.
Yeah, I remember they were playing that.
Was that Reese Witherspoon and?
Yep.
And
Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, I never saw it. I was never really interested to see. I know it's based on a book.
Oh, it's got the guy from it's got the guy from Inglourious Bastards, the German.
Oh, he played. Didn't he play like the husband?
Yeah,
or something.
Not that good of a person.
Yeah, he was bad. He plays bad really well. That guy.
Except for Alita Battle Angel.
Yeah, him.
Yeah, he's good.
Alita Battle Angel and Django Unchained.
Yeah.
I've said it once. I'm going to say it again. I am ready for the Alita Battle Angel follow up. She needs to make it all the way up there. I want to see what's up there.
You know, I thought there was supposed to be more happening after that scene, and then it just ended. And I was like, what?
Time to
Where's
read the
this
book.
showdown supposed to happen?
to
I want
read
to
the-
see this show. I feel like we're getting closer. I mean, they just keep teasing it. Diddy.
Yes.
They're twiddling their little fingers like, yes, it's
I mean,
coming.
I wish Cameron would get involved in that sort of stuff instead of Avatar crap. I know Colin loves
You hear that,
Avatar.
Colin?
No, he's out of the
You hear
room. He will not hear me
You hear
besmirching
that?
his.
Alita Battle Angel is better than Avatar.
Yeah, I really liked Alita Battle Angel. I liked that
Yeah.
coat she wore. I wanted to buy that coat.
Coat? Oh, yeah,
That
yeah,
long
yeah.
leather jacket. That was cool. Yeah.
And she was a likable female protagonist.
Yeah, I liked her.
And I like the fact that they weren't. I mean, I'm not even saying that's not the point of it. I'm saying, but they weren't afraid to kind of go there because you kind of assume that she has a certain level of ability because of her, you know, the way she's been built and all that. But oh my gosh, that scene where she tried to fight the one guy and she got like shredded,
Ripped
completely.
to shreds. Yeah.
I was shocked.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that either.
yeah.
Well, she
And
got her
then-
butt handed to her.
Yeah, and then like we're thinking he's holding her by the head or whatever, and he was like, you know, I guess I'll show you mercy, and she says, "F your mercy," and then I was like, this is intense. I was shocked by how that
That's a
film
good
progressed.
movie.
I thought it was going to be a lot more, not Disney Channel, but you know, I thought it was going to. I didn't know it
I
was
thought it was
like,
going to be more fluffy, sort of
Right,
like
right.
more. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it
But
was
wasn't.
hardcore. That's why I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Based off of a
They
manga.
weren't afraid to go there.
Based off of an OVA. But mainly off of a manga.
Yes, The Gentleman is a lot of fun. I love that movie.
We are jumping like.
I know.
You
I'm
hear-
responding to the comments, Arturo.
Anyway, Thor.
Does anyone
Thor came
rank
on to
movie
11.
like the absolutely brilliant Holy Grail credits? No. You know what? I've never even thought about that.
When you say rank, like, what do you mean? I mean, I know what ranking means. I'm just saying, like, when you say the movie credits, like, that's so weird. I was just thinking about that earlier today. I don't know why, but I was thinking about like the end of like, what was it? Memoirs of a Geisha, Dreamgirls, and then Coming to America. How they'll have those credits where they show almost every person in the cast, like visually. I love credits like that.
You know what credits I really loved? End credits was the end credits for Wonder Woman. Those were cool.
Oh, didn't they? How did those look? I think I can remember.
It was artistic drawings, or it was drawings, depictions of different scenes from the movie. Like when she was in No Man's Land with the shield, they drew it. It was really cool. It was really well done, and also the music that they played with it. I get chills. Like if I could go back, someone asked on Twitter recently, if you could go back and rewatch a film for the first time, what would it be? So like not counting Terminator 2, obviously, it would be Wonder Woman. I had such a blast with that movie. I love that movie so much. I have warm fuzzies when I think about when we went to go see that movie.
He says, I got irritated by the Avatar movie since I had initially thought it was going to be Avatar Last Airbender. Yeah.
Hey, I don't like
anyways, I was going to say Thor came out this year. The first Thor movie.
It wasn't 2010?
No,
it was 2011. I actually liked the first Thor.
I did too.
I thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, not knowing anything about the character, because I didn't know anything. I mean, I know about in Norse mythology, I know about that Thor, but I don't know about like Marvel Comics Thor. So it's kind of like, I guess we'll see. And I don't know. I guess I don't know what approach I thought they were going to take, but I kind of like the contrast of him in Asgard than him being stuck in this like podunk town, and then him not having his power and having to regain it. I thought all that actually was really cool.
And the comedic, like he kept getting hit by vehicles, and I thought it was fun.
I am disappointed what they did with his character later on. I felt like the first one had a lot of like, character growth. You know,
I disagree.
Didn't Kenneth Branagh direct that first one?
Yep.
I think Thor really came into his own when he gained all the weight and started playing Fortnite. That's when
what
the most.
You mean when he was Fat Thor?
Right.
Fat Thor was peak Thor, and I like Thor 3 and 4 the best. The 2 was bad, and I liked 1, but it was a little too serious for me. It did have comedy, but when they fully embraced the comedy is when I love comedy.
I don't know. I felt like the first one actually did better with his character than like the other ones that came after the fact. I mean, of course, the fourth one kind of just wrecked his character.
Comedic parts of it were kind of so like Ragnarok. That was the first one that
That was when it started to like.
And it was kind of, and it made him like the butt of jokes, and it was kind of goofy, and also that wasn't the best time in my life to be watching that. Okay. But
I like the dumb goofy stuff.
It was, but see that.
I mean, it works for some things, but I don't know.
It feels like that's where Marvel's going though now, was with dumb goofy stuff.
And I'll say, Sin, I think to piggyback off your point, I think it would be one thing if that was kind of the one drop in the hat, like as far as the direction, because I think you have to have some kind of balance between the characters, but I don't think they can all be silly. And I think I was just talking to someone about, I said it in my theater reaction, but like with the first Ant-Man, a lot of folks say they're not into that, but to me was kind of funny in a unique way, like the Thomas the Tank Engine fight and things like that, like small kind of quirky stuff like that. And I just think part of it is that now the humor is all becoming very broad and very kind of loud and kind of obvious, where we had kind of different shades of it before, depending on the characters.
We need to be going back to more serious.
Feels like it's getting too cartoony at this point, and it's losing its weightiness, which is why I haven't liked the later movies as much.
Chris Hemsworth's a pretty cool actor, and I think he works as serious Thor and comedic Thor, so that's talent, I think.
Oh, he's got great comedic timing, and he's the perfect casting for. He was the perfect choice for that role. And what's his face? Tom Hiddleston.
Oh, Hiddleston.
I love him as
he's
Loki.
Great Loki.
Yeah.
I'm always wondering this is gonna sound dumb, but you know how like Brad Pitt has just been the go-to name for like a hot guy when someone's like, he's no Brad Pitt or whatever, just to go. And there's this weird part of me that's like, man, what Brad Pitt? He's like 60, he'll be 70. Who's the next name that everyone's just like? And I'm like, Chris Hemsworth seems like he could be. But it's also weird because we're in this era. It feels like there is no like superstar,
right?
Kind of above everyone else. It's like they're all kind of on this level now, and so I don't know. Maybe we're still a ways away from knowing, or we don't know who it is going to be now. But you ever think about weird stuff like that? Like in my whole life, Brad Pitt's been the name of. I wish I could be Brad Pitt. Just whatever
I never thought Brad Pitt was all that. That's the thing.
Right, but he
never did anything for me as far as
who did though.
Who did? Gosh,
that's a really interesting.
Okay, so I used to be obsessed with Kiefer Sutherland in The Lost Boys, like Kiefer Sutherland,
that's right. Yeah.
David Bowie as Jareth. Oh my gosh, I was totally obsessed with him. Obsessed with Arnold, but not in that way. So that's like so. Because I've talked about, I can't remember if I talked about that with you or other people. Like a huge obsession with Arnold, but in a completely different type of way.
Right.
Gosh, who else? Shoot, I don't know. But Brad Pitt never did. Like Leo DiCaprio never did. Like a lot of the actors that people thought were so hot, like George Clooney, and I'm like.
Johnny Depp,
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Johnny Depp, when he was younger, no, because he was too pretty. He was very pretty. And then as he got older, to me, he got better looking the older he got, because he stopped looking. He was just too pretty.
Yeah, like especially in like the 80s phase and all that.
And everybody, all these girls thought he was, he was all over the place. No, he's too pretty. But now he looks just right to me. I
don't know, Leonardo DiCaprio, like for his age, he still looks good.
Yeah, he's like very. He hasn't seemed to age too much.
Yeah.
He looks very similar.
Blubberella? What was this movie? What was this movie? I've never heard of it. Was it about a whale?
No, I've never heard of it, but I just wasn't expecting that title.
Because you know what? It looks like it's a take on Barbarella.
Right. Blah blah. Wow.
Super 8.
I've never heard of this movie. Yeah, Super 8. That was
I wanted to love Super 8.
I did too.
That's the kind of movie that like I would write if I could make a movie. And so I was so stoked to hear about it coming out, and then I was just kind of like, "Oh, that's it." Like, felt like it could have.
It felt a bit anticlimactic. Like I felt like it had all of the ingredients there to make this great sort of like different form of ET type of feel good film, and yet it just kind of was like, meh.
I liked it for the time.
Yeah, it was okay.
And it felt too. I'm not saying literally just like, but because it didn't completely distinguish itself, it felt more so like a redux of ET.
Yeah. Like he was trying to recapture that magic, but it just wasn't. It wasn't.
For some reason, I thought Steven Spielberg, but J.J. Abrams was the one that directed it.
I think Spielberg was involved somehow, wasn't he?
Wasn't he producing it?
I thought.
Yeah,
I thought he was.
Yeah.
Oh, Ryan Reynolds' big hit, Green Lantern.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Yes.
I never saw that, but I heard how bad it was.
Oh, it's amazing.
No. Okay, you're the one who thought the soul gaze that Corey and Michael Myers had was beautiful. So I can't with you.
Which was beautiful.
Not the soul gaze.
Oh god.
Oh man, I should send D that short.
He might have already seen it. You've only played it 500 million times.
Corey has the same dark.
Matt likes to watch the world burn, y'all. So when things are terrible, he gets great joy out of that.
There's an extended edition of that movie too.
Oh no!
And I have the early steelbook for it, so it's a Blu-ray, but it looks like it's in a DVD case, but it's all steel. That's the Green Lantern one I have.
I was halfway interested to see it. Then I heard how terrible it was. Then I lost interest. So I don't know. But he did meet his wife on that set. Isn't that when they met?
Yeah, that's
maybe.
So at least something good came from it. So Blubberella is a heavy girl who fights Nazis. Oh gosh!
Wow.
I never heard of such. Oh, that might interest you, Arturo, since it involves fighting Nazis. Okay. Oh, Young Guns was a fun film. I like that movie. Brad Pitt is he's actually a really good. He's a good actor.
Yeah, I think he's one of those that because he looks the way he does, even though we know that's subjective, but there are a lot of actors and actresses because they look a certain way. Because I feel like Michelle Pfeiffer is another one where they're actually very talented, but how they look sometimes people don't pay attention to that.
Yeah, but she's a very good actor. 12 Monkeys, I have still not seen that movie. Oh, hey Louie. The Expendables transforms through item number 4 in Planet Dry. Yes. Yes, I saw the Zoe Saldana action flick last night.
Colombiana.
Yeah, I watched that last night, and it's okay. It's not terrible. I think probably one of the things I liked the most about it was the different ways she would infiltrate where she was going.
Oh, okay.
Like how she infiltrated. Have you ever seen it, D?
No, because I remember when it was out, and I can't remember if it was at the dollar. It was something that I didn't. I think it was one of those things where it was majority rules. We would all venture out. It was when I was still in college, so it was like we had to be picky and choosy, like which one should we see. So I didn't get to see it, but it looked interesting though.
It wasn't bad, and she was good in there. I mean, like she pretty much always is. She was kick ass, like she pretty much always is.
Right.
But like there was this really cool scene where she infiltrates this jail because she's going after a mark, and then there's another scene where there's this pool of sharks. This guy keeps these sharks in a pool, but he's got glass over top the pool.
Right.
And when she infiltrated the place, she went in through the pool, and so she was like. Inside the pool, like moving along the glass, and I was like, "Oh, that's actually kind of cool." It's just neat, like these different ways she would get into where she was going to.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was a fun film.
Has anybody seen Mr. Popper's Penguins?
I read the book, but
I remember Corey going to see that one.
Yeah, because Jim Carrey. Yeah, I never saw that. I wanted to talk about I Am Number 4. And Planet of the Apes.
Okay, so, well, I am number 4. We did see
one, not the other.
Okay,
I saw Planet of the Apes.
I've seen both of them.
Oh.
I liked I Am Number 4, and it was based on a book, so I listened to the book after I saw the movie. The movie's okay. It's not awesome, but it was fun. And Planet of the Apes, it was enjoyable to revisit that.
Mm-hmm.
That movie's
Father's
still
so good.
really solid.
Very.
And the entire trilogy, the ratings and the reviews for that just got
better and better.
better as the series went on. And what's his face? Andy Serkis. The motion capture, they really need to have a category for motion capture because he did really good. Oh, and the guy who does Koba too. That guy.
Yes.
Okay, so the dude who played Koba, he
You mean the villain, the
villain chimpanzee. He also did motion capture in Skull Island. He was Kong.
Oh, really?
And he also played another character in Skull Island. But the motion capture, it was just amazing. And the facial expressions, especially by the time that last movie came out. Oh.
Yes.
So
were you mad about the ending? I'm sorry. Were you mad about the ending of the third one?
No, sad, but it made sense to me.
Oh, don't! I haven't seen it.
Oh, okay. No, I won't say what it is, but it was bittersweet.
I kind of figured.
It was bittersweet.
Yeah.
I felt like Caesar's arc was really. I liked the storyline of his character, and I just loved the way they made him. The way they made him look like he looks intimidating as hell.
Yes.
But he doesn't look evil.
Right.
Like Koba looked evil. Koba looked bad.
Yeah.
But Caesar looks like he is badass. Don't mess with me. I'll kick your butt. But I'm also merciful. I can be merciful.
He's like Batman.
Yeah, he was really cool the way they did his character. And Arturo had never seen this movie. He didn't go see it with us. We went to go see it in California when we were out there for my brother's wedding, and he didn't go see that with us. So when he watched it a few days ago, that was his first time.
Yeah.
So now he's got to watch all the rest of the series for each year because they're good.
Yeah. Really you know my favorite character in those films are?
Who?
Maurice, the orangutan.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, like
that little sweet.
Yep.
Yeah, like his I mean, and I know they're monkeys, but kind of like his personality, like how he would sign and the stuff he would say. And I think at one point in the first one, Caesar is saying something about like how we need to unite, we need to, come together and such. He's like, we're apes, we must unite. And so Maurice looks around, he was like, yeah, but apes are stupid. And then he just walks away. He was my favorite out of all of them.
Yeah.
I wonder who did the motion capture for him.
Yeah.
Because he was good too. Blubberella is also part vampire, y'all. I just found that fascinating.
This is so bizarre. Wow.
Reminds me of a video game series.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I need to watch 12 Monkeys. I know we're time jumping here, but I have heard about this thing.
Anyways, Captain America: The First Avenger also came out this same year.
See, I was probably one of the few. Yeah, it was one of the few. I guess I'm one of the people who enjoyed it. Now, granted, it's a far cry from some of the other stuff we end up seeing. Of course, it's not the Winter Soldier, but Sin, you already know I'm a period piece sucker, so I was, of course, I enjoyed it. But I understand that, like, it's kind of I know why they started with him, but compared to like some of the other characters and the stuff we saw down the road, I can understand why people weren't in love with it. But it was cool for me.
It was disappointing. I was expecting so much more from it, and it felt a little bit too lighthearted to me.
Right.
And so when the second one came around, the Winter Soldier, that blew me away. And I think because it was such a huge improvement, and I just loved the storyline, the whole storyline of that.
Yeah. It's a disappointing too because it's set in like one of my favorite
Arturo loves this time period as well. Yeah. But
if you want to watch more Captain America, there's always the 90s Captain America.
No, don't even. Don't even.
want to ask Arturo, are you interested in watching All Quiet on the Western Front because it's a war movie?
I know what happens.
He heard it
You
from
could
me.
thank Sin for that one. You could thank Sin for that one. I thought about it, but I don't know.
It's really intense. It's really well made. But
More intense than 1917?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Even though 1917 had moments. But yeah, I'm pretty sure this is way more intense.
Yeah, I mean,
you've seen it 2D?
Some of the death scenes.
I'm pacing myself with it because I've already seen, I'm already aware of some things, and I'm like, oh, like
okay,
yeah.
So, I think we've disappointed Colin.
Well,
what?
So we had to watch the movie
I
with Richard Thomas.
Disappointed Colin.
Oh, it's
in school.
Oh, the original?
Well, I don't think it was the original. I think the one we saw was like a remake and had Richard Thomas in it.
Oh,
and so I think we might have had to read the book too. I can't remember for sure. So I know what happens to his character. So yes, I did a Wikipedia plot read on this version. And basically the same thing happens. It just happens in a different way. In the other movie that I saw, it's the same outcome, but it happened differently.
Okay.
Well, it's not. I mean, it's not about the story, really. It's because I knew the story going into it too. I mean, they go to war and they die in war.
Yeah, I know. And sometimes I don't.
And I did not want to watch
that. That is reality, though.
After watching it,
I know.
Like,
that's the struggle.
Why did I watch that? But, but it is one of the best films I've seen about war, and it really makes.
I've heard nothing but good things about it. I've just never been crazy about the story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
And I can
maybe one day. I don't know.
Did we discuss on one of the on one of the watch parties? Did we discuss 1917? Sin?
I thought we did talk about it.
Okay,
but I don't remember if it was during a watch party.
Yeah.
Or maybe you remember the last live stream we had where we were up until like 3 or 4 in the morning talking because you didn't have to go to work the next day.
Oh, that's true. And that's so
that might have been when we were talking.
Yeah, and we took advantage of it because it's so rare. So you were like,
right. Yeah, and we just kept going. Just one right after the other after the other. I think that was the one in January, I think. Early January, yeah.
Has anybody heard Attack the Block?
Yes. I just mentioned that, yeah.
I found my copy of that for you to watch, Arturo, and we never got around to watching it.
You should watch it.
Good. Is that good?
Oh, good.
It's fun.
You should watch it. It's good.
That was the first time I saw or noticed John Boyega.
Yep.
Yeah.
And also the chick who's now is the doctor or was the doctor.
Oh, the alien.
She had also played in Broadchurch. I think she played in Broadchurch with David Tennant as well.
You know what?
I like Broadchurch.
I do like Broadchurch. That's actually really, really good.
Yeah,
I feel like
good things about it.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I feel like Attack the Block captured the energy that Super 8 wanted to. But Super 8 tried to do something that had been done before, which is kids fight aliens, or kids kids are on an adventure and there's aliens, Yeah. And Attack the Block felt like that movie where it had the youthful energy, sci-fi, running around. It had that cool energy to it, and Super 8 just felt like we're watching like they're trying to do E.T. and Close Encounters again and mix it with these kids, and just. It had moments. I think it started off pretty good, but it just kind of by the end it just felt like cliched. But yeah, Attack the Block on the other hand,
that was much darker.
I was gonna say that got real intense.
Maybe not kids, teens, but a little more violent and stuff. But
definitely, I was shocked by that.
It was fun, it had fun energy to it. That's a good
one. Then of course The Guard, which we saw.
Oh gosh, that movie. Have you seen that, Dee and Colin?
The Guard?
Who's in it?
Brendan Gleeson and oh crap, I keep forgetting his name, Simon.
Don Cheadle.
Yeah, Don Cheadle.
Jeez. See, The Guard.
I don't think so. I think I remember.
So Don Cheadle is an FBI. I think he's an FBI guy, and he comes over to remember.
Simon's picture from. Okay.
Yeah, that's what his picture, and it is so. So You just have to watch it for the dialogue.
Is it funny?
Alone. Yes, it's funny because there's this one scene where Don Cheadle comes and he's like giving like this presentation to the local law enforcement. And Brendan Gleeson starts like saying this just so obnoxiously racist stuff. You know, but he's just like, it's like so clueless to him. Like he's just like asking these, it's like, what the heck are you saying? And then Don Cheadle said something to him about his racist slurs or something. And Brandon Gleeson said something like, I'm Irish, racist is part of our nature or something like that.
Wow.
They're both really good actors. That would be fun.
Yeah, it was a fun film. It was like interesting. It had this different feel to it. It was like it had this casual feel to it because it doesn't hold your hand.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain. Like it kind of drops you in the middle of this situation with these people,
Right.
and you have to put a lot together. It doesn't tell you now this is happening because you have to use your brain, but the dialogue is worth watching.
Well, the very beginning of the movie, he's like sitting in his car, and these like crazy teens are like, what? They're driving too fast, and then they crashed their car, and I think one of them flew out of the car.
Yeah, they got killed. Yeah,
or he's. I mean, like I remember his expression. I'm trying to remember like what he did. I know he got out of the car. He walked over there, and he's like, whatever.
I know. There's this dead guy on the road. Because, I don't know. It's funny.
I would have watched that. I just looked at it. So not streaming. It's like it feels like every movie's streaming, and I'm like, I don't have time for it. And then when I look for one of the movies we talk about, like that's not on any of the things I have. Like it feels like everything's there, and then when I want something, I don't know how to find it. I don't know. I don't want to rent I don't want to spend $3. I'm cheap. Like,
you're cheap.
I pay for all these services, and they have all these movies, and then whenever I'm like, okay, I want to watch this movie, it's like, no, you got to pay for this movie. I'm just cheap. But no, I would watch. I'll keep an eye out for that.
I had it for a long time, and I just never watched it. But I watched it because I knew it was a 2011 movie, so I watched it specifically for this. Artur and I did, and it was fun. I don't think it was as fun as In Bruges, but it was good. I mean, just I don't know. You have to see him for yourself.
Has a charm to him. He has he's easy to like, I think.
Who? Brendan Gleeson?
Yeah, Brendan. Ever since Gangs in New York, I've liked him a lot.
Oh, see, I haven't seen that yet. But this movie, The Guard, was directed by the brother.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
his older brother. I didn't know that.
In Bruges guy.
Yes, the brother of the In Bruges guy directed this.
Yeah.
So.
Final Destination 5.
I haven't seen any of those movies. I haven't watched any of them at all.
Okay, Sin, I'm putting that on the watch party.
Oh no, I know of the thing with the log truck. That's like this meme you see all over the place.
Oh, listen, that has shaped an entire generation of people from like 2002, 2003, all the way to now. Yes.
But see, that's always been something that's been a thing in my brain because I remember my dad talking about. Maybe I mentioned it to you about like he mentioned something about like being behind a truck that had a bunch of 2x4s on it or something like that, and always being aware of the danger of one of those things falling out. So when the whole thing with the log truck happened, I was like, oh yeah, that's that thing my dad was always worried about happening in the traffic. Oh my gosh.
Then there's Conan the Barbarian remake.
Oh yeah,
that's another 80s movie that came
out. Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
That came out the same time that like Cowboys and Aliens did, and the Planet of the Apes.
Fright Night, as well. The remake of Fright Night. That's like two 80s movies right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I also like. I do like the remake.
Archer watched the Fright Night remake. Yeah.
I've heard
I haven't seen Conan the Barbarian though.
It's not terrible. I mean, it's not as good as the original.
With Jason Momoa, do you guys just say that?
Conan.
Yeah.
I think I kind of liked it. I mean, for like a cheesy, simple action movie, I think maybe it's because I like Jason Momoa and he's got a charm to him too.
Well, I felt like he would be the perfect casting, but then I heard how terrible it was and how it's so heavy on CGI and just not.
Oh, okay.
So I think I started watching it a few years ago, and I just kind of
But Friday Night was pretty good though.
Stopped caring. Yeah, Friday Night was pretty fun.
That sounds just like that King Arthur movie they did a few years ago, and that was
I heard about that. That was with what's his face, the blonde guy.
Yeah, from Sons of Anarchy. I can't remember his name either.
Yeah, I know. I know it if I hear Charlie. Was it Charlie Hunnam?
No, Hunnam. There we go. Yeah,
he played in The Gentleman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, it's like they were trying so hard, and I think the problem is like there's only but so many directions you can go. They've tried to do King Arthur before too, and I feel like you can only go but so many directions with that. You can't. You kind of want to stick to the story, but you want to do it in a way that's not boring. But if you go too far out, so like they they just did a lot of weird kind of slow mo, over the top stuff, and just it didn't fit, unfortunately.
Did anybody see Apollo 18?
Oh,
I don't think so.
Wait. Well, wait a second.
Wait, is that the found footage one?
Yeah, it's like horror.
Yeah,
I was thinking about the Tom Hanks film, and I was like, that doesn't sound right.
Right?
No, I haven't seen that. 13. I haven't seen that. In answer to your question, Phil, yes, I saw Banshees of Inisherin.
Me too.
I did a review for that. That was depressing as fucking depressing.
Oh.
And the dialogue was really funny though, and Colin Farrell was excellent in there. I was getting a little bit annoyed with Brendan Gleeson though. It's like the lengths he went to.
Yeah,
it was like something's wrong with you, dude. To be cutting off your fingers like that.
I was like, yeah, I'm like, because my issue was, okay, if you want to be serious, I understand you want to be serious. But to a certain point, it's just like, what are you going to do now? Wasn't your goal to make music? How does
and
that...
now you're going to cut all your fingers off practically.
I was so confused.
Yeah, I know. That and it annoyed me too because he drove, like his actions drove Colin Farrell's character to do this stuff. Like it changed his nature completely.
Right.
Because he was such, I don't know. But it was good, but it was sad. Yeah. It was sad.
Yeah. And then Carrie Condon was so great.
She was my vote in the Rubber Duckies, but she didn't make it.
Yeah, it was hard because I was like, because I think the category, I don't know, I think, personally say for one, but I thought like everyone brought something, but Carrie Condon, I don't know if I told you, but I've been a fan of her since the HBO series Rome. She played a character called Octavia. So it's crazy to like, I mean, I was in high school when that show was on. So it's crazy all these years later. I mean, and granted, she's been in stuff, but to see her like during award season and all that kind of stuff, and she won a BAFTA.
I heard that she won. Yeah, that she won something for that. It was, what was funny about Banshees was like this little small town feel.
Yep.
And they were all up in each other's business, and everybody knew that he didn't want to talk to his friend anymore, and they kept asking, "Have you been rowing?" No, we've not been rowing. I don't think we've been rowing. Just, the way they were talking was funny. Yeah.
There was Warrior.
Oh, love that movie. That's in.
I think you recommended that one to me before.
That's in my top 10. That's such a good film. Nick Nolte, a heartbreaking performance as an alcoholic father, knowing that his alcoholism had torn apart the family and caused this rift between his sons, who end up fighting each other in the ring.
Oh, is that the one with Joel Edgerton?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, I love that movie so much.
Is Tom Hardy in that one, or is that a different movie?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. They're all so good. Everybody in there is so good. Heartbreaking and I can't recommend it highly enough. And I'm not necessarily into movies like that very much. Like sports related types of movies or even drama movies. But I think it was the human drama that really pulled me into it, which is very unusual for me because that's not my typical thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good.
Has anybody heard of Straw Dogs?
Oh my gosh.
I have heard of it, but I have not seen it.
This is a remake of a 1971 movie. Like,
Who was in the 71 movie? Was it Dustin Hoffman?
Dustin Hoffman.
That's what I thought. But I
Mhm.
don't remember anything
never
about
heard
it.
of it until I saw the trailer for the remake.
I don't
Yeah, but
remember who was in this one.
What's his
What's
name?
the-
James Marsden and Kate
Okay.
Bosworth.
like,
Oh,
all I know it
okay.
has something to do with like these people that moved to this place and what, crazy people around that area, something like that.
Well, it's people that know. It's one person in particular who knows the guy's wife, and then he has kind of these people around him who are not the best people, and it's about how they decide they're going to then deal with the fact that they're now on their turf, and it escalates like a lot. That's why as soon as you said it, I was like, ugh, because that film like explodes in some really messed up visual ways.
Is it good? Or is it just not?
It's good, like where it's like it's a well-made story, but it's so heavy and so bloody and dark and brutal that at the end you're gonna be like, "Ooh, I need to go find my happy place again." It's rough.
Oh, okay.
Well, what's the difference between the 71 version and the 2011 one?
Well, I know one thing. Well, see, that'll spoil it. I'll just say this. I think they changed the ambiguity of certain things in the first one because I think there are certain things that are suggestive in the first film that I think people it's off-putting, I think. So I remember they changed that. I think a couple of like some of the deaths, I think they might have changed a couple of those. But yeah. It made it more intense.
So what's better?
It kind of depends because I kind of feel like the 70s in a way because it's more I feel like it was kind of more shocking for the time, whereas I think if you watch the new one, it seems more akin to the type of stuff we would see now.
Okay.
It's just kind of two different things. So like I appreciate one for what it is. I kind of appreciate them in different ways, but if I had to choose, probably the original.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, never heard of it until that trailer came out for that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know it was based off of something.
Yeah.
And then you have The Thing, which is a prequel.
Oh yeah, the prequel.
Mhm.
Another Joel Edgerton
A
movie.
Which I didn't know at the time. Yeah, I didn't realize it was a prequel. I was like,
A
they're
lot of
remaking
people.
this?
That's what a lot of people thought because it's just called The Thing.
Right.
Okay,
But
so
I liked it.
I like
Okay.
that movie. I do think the CGI stuff doesn't work well.
It's very obviously CGI, of course.
But I did like the fact that they do something a little different to figure out. Excuse you. I did like that they did a different like method to figure out who was the thing instead of like the whole blood test from the original.
Oh, yeah. Well, the brilliant idea they had was to look for fillings, but the problem is not everybody has fillings. So.
Mhm.
Yeah, but then still, how would you know if they're the thing?
I know. What if they're not and they just never had fillings? That's not going to be. So I remember when I was rewatching that with you, I was like, because I said something. I was like, well, what if they don't have fillings? They're just going to think they're one of the creatures because there's no fillings in their teeth. They just assume everybody has fillings. Not everybody has fillings.
Well, it's best to play it safe.
Oh,
Well, by doing that, they're not filling in their plot holes.
See what I mean, y'all?
And
I'm sorry.
I will say
I
it is
apologize for these bad puns.
I will say it is a family-friendly movie too.
Yes, family friendly. All
Yeah.
right.
I want to mention a movie. Just
Yeah.
it's not a great movie, but like me, if you're a big fan of Jack Black, the movie Bernie is
Oh, Bernie, yeah.
it's a rare movie where he's not like trying to like be a big clown and be larger than life. It's a little more subdued performance from Jack Black. It's still funny and quirky, where he befriends like this widow and then they have this weird relationship. And it's based on a true story, so
Right.
he modeled his performance off like a real person, which is just I don't know if you like Jack Black and you like quirky, funny movies. It's pretty good, Bernie.
I think my brother Matt, when he was in town one of these past times, he started watching it, and I'd never seen it, so I'd never seen it before. I knew of it, and so I was watching parts of it with him. I thought he did really good in there in the role.
Yeah.
He was pretty sympathetic character, though.
Yeah.
I felt sorry for him.
Yeah.
He was such a wicked, nasty person. Anyway.
And now he's going to play Bowser.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Bowser.
That's the best cast ever, that movie.
Paranormal Activity 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
No. Okay, no. I've got some written down or two. Are you just going down the list?
Yeah, so also the Three Musketeers.
Oh,
I don't think I saw that version. Was Mila Jovovich in that?
Yes,
one?
yes, because it was recently playing, and I actually paid some attention to it.
Colin's favorite.
And I was like, oh
gal.
yeah, Mila Jovovich is in there.
Yes,
And,
I thought the movie was
Colin's
pretty bad.
favorite gal.
who else? Who else is in that?
She couldn't carry that movie on her own.
Well, I don't think she was supposed to. She wasn't supposed to be the main.
No, she wasn't in it, but that movie was not worth watching even with her.
It was. Gosh, I don't even remember. I think the dude from Percy Jackson in the Olympian, Percy Jackson was in there, wasn't he?
Okay.
Oh, whose phone is that?
That's my landline.
Oh, that's really not.
Probably it's probably a fake sales, whatever.
I never answer a number I don't recognize.
Yeah.
I've heard of the Excalibur movie, Phil, but I don't think I've ever seen it. Isn't that from the 80s?
Anthony One, John Borman, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sam,
I thought this was 20.
you said
What?
you don't answer numbers you don't recognize?
No.
Is that why you didn't answer the other day?
You called? No, you didn't call. Wait, what?
Oh.
No, I didn't know.
What? I was like, wait, I was like, no, I was like, wait a second. How did you have my number? You don't even have my number. It's like, wait. No, I don't.
Oh, you know a movie I
was
saw. Sorry.
What? Sorry. What is it, Colin? That's okay.
A movie I saw I was so excited. And I was still blinded in 2011, where like I would get so many of the movies this year I'm looking at, I was just disappointed by. And this was one. It's not a bad movie, but because it was Martin Scorsese making a movie in 3D, I was convinced I was going to see some awesome shit. But Hugo is really just
okay. I haven't seen Hugo.
I went and saw it in the theaters. And I got really high 3D in theaters because I was just like, dude, Scorsese's going to pull some shit on this 3D. And then I was like, what did I come see this for? Like, that's what I mean. Scorsese, he's awesome. But it's not like I can't go see every single one of his movies he releases. Because sometimes he does Hugo or like Silence or a religious movie. And I'm going to skip this one, But so Hugo was yes.
I saw Hugo because a week from tomorrow, I'm going to be on Soundbooth Theater live stream, and we're going to be talking about Hugo.
Really?
To promo one of our audiobook releases. And the reason we picked Hugo is because of the automaton in the movie. Because like there's a character in one of our books. She's a golem, but she's like a robot or something. Anyway, whatever.
Oh, wow.
So I saw Hugo, and I was watching it, and I was like, oh wait, Martin Scorsese directed this film.
No. Yeah.
So it was okay. It was a little bit too lighthearted and family friendly for me.
Yeah.
It's very rare that those types of films appeal to me.
Did you need some edge?
I need some edge. It was okay. The kids were great. Asa Butterfield was really good in there, I thought. But it was just like, yeah, he was funny. And then when he was trying to smile, he was smiling to that girl. Because the lady with the dog was giving him lessons on how to smile. So he goes over to this girl he has a crush on, and he's like, got this really cringy smile.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, it was all right.
I'm going to head off. Have a good night.
Okay, Matt.
Yep.
See you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Boots and Boots came out this year, and I thought it was 2013 when it came out.
Gosh.
Which I still need to see. It's been some years between the two, hasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, there's 3 Puss in Boots movies, right?
No.
Really? There's only 2?
Yes.
There's 4? Oh, there's 2. Okay. Wow, that's a long time in between. I still haven't gone to see this newest one, and I don't remember anything about the first one.
I remember some about it. It had to do. I think the villain in there was the Humpty Dumpty.
Oh, wow.
Humpty Dumpty. Okay.
Set on a wall.
Yeah. I finally
It
got
also-
a chance to see it.
Oh, Happy Feet 2 came out this year.
I never saw Happy Feet 2. I really liked the first one, but
Did we see that? I don't even remember.
Yeah, we did. I think that was also our little cousin's first time seeing.
Oh, okay. I don't remember. I remember the first one more because I think I watched that more.
The tap dancing to the Stevie
Yes.
Wonder.
And the song at the end and the credits that they
Yeah.
played that all the time. I like that song.
The only thing I thought was weird, and not in a bad way, it just was, I guess, just a creative choice that threw me off. But because we see the penguins, we see their design using the computer, the computer animation and all that. I was so thrown off when they showed actual human.
A human,
people.
right? Right. I noticed that too when I was like, "Wow, this doesn't fit."
Right. It was weird.
Yeah, it was. Yep, I knew as soon as she started talking about how you were thrown off. I was like, he's going to talk about the part where a person came in. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Horrible Bosses came out this year.
Ooh.
But I've never seen that movie. Arturo has asked me about it multiple times, but I've never seen it. I've never been interested to see it. Isn't that the one with Jennifer Aniston in it?
Yeah, Jennifer Aniston. I think is Colin Farrell in that? Let me look.
Yeah. Well,
Really?
he's in the second one. I don't know if he's in the first one.
Yeah, I think he might be the son of a character. Oh, I just remember it's Kevin Spacey.
I think he might have replaced Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
I think Colin Farrell replaced him.
Yeah.
But Charlie Day's in it. He's one of my favorite. I love Charlie Day. One of my favorite shows, Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And he's probably my favorite part of the movie. It's not a great comedy, but it's decent enough. Jason Bateman.
Oh, yeah, Jason. Yeah.
He's pretty good.
Yeah. I heard about her character in there. So
She was.
yeah, I heard.
Sherlock Holmes: A Game of Shadows.
Oh, Sherlock Holmes 2. Not as good as the first one.
But it has Noomi Rapace in it. Right?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it.
I thought it was interesting how they I won't say who, but I thought it was interesting who they killed off very early. I was like, oh.
I was
okay.
surprised by that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
I
that.
wasn't expecting that.
I never forgot that scene.
Yeah.
Adventures
We were
of
just walking
Tintin.
out and then boom. I was
Yep.
like, oh.
Yep.
Adventures of Tintin.
Right, Tintin.
Okay, so that's crazy. I was just thinking because I was like, I sometimes think about. I'm like, why am I thinking about Hugo and the Adventures of Tintin the same? Because they came out the same year. Yeah. At one point, I thought they were like. I think I kept confusing them with each other.
My brother Tim really likes Tintin, and I don't remember a whole lot about it because I think I only saw it once.
We saw it once that year.
Yeah, when we went to see it on.
I remember I liked it. I thought that the quality of it was really good.
I did tell you guys, I get these videos, I get the things set up like a day or two ahead of time, and I think I even posted about it in my community. So, I'm sorry. YouTube doesn't always let people know things. So, and I have no way to tag all of my subscribers or whatever, or whoever. I have no way to tag you guys. So, the only way you would know is if YouTube decided to let you guys know, or if you went directly to my channel, which is kind of frustrating because I miss out on a lot of stuff too on YouTube from people that I like to watch. But anyway, sorry, Arturo.
There's the girl with the dragon tattoo.
Yes, Phil, I have. I'm actually aware.
Wait. I'm sorry. I was okay. Wait, were you responding to Phil or were you responding to Arturo? Okay, how does she?
Phil.
Oh, how does she? Yeah. Well, you have to spell it phonetically, I guess.
Because I call her Noomi, but it might be wrong. How is it?
Oh, you're asking me. Sorry. I thought you were asking. Sorry.
Well, I thought you were giving us this look like, well, I know a secret I'm not going to tell you.
Well, yes, that does sound like me.
You bet I ain't going to tell you.
How does she?
No, it's Noomi Rapace.
Numi Rapace.
Numi Rapace. Okay.
Oh, and I was saying Rapace.
Me
Oh,
too.
but that's kind of what you would think. I think it's when I did my review for Lamb, I was trying to look it up because I don't even know if I was trying to look up her name or something else, but I just happened to see something that said when I looked up her name, it was like her saying her name to someone, and I was like, oh, I actually didn't know it was pronounced that way. So
yeah, we put the long A instead of the other A, so it was Rapace. It was Rapace.
Girl with the
Okay,
dragon
so
tattoo.
that ties into Girl with the Dragon Tattoo with the remake. Arturo saw that. Now I feel like you need to watch the original Arturo.
Ooh, what's good?
All three of the movies. I can't remember if I was telling Arturo this or somebody else, but the changes that they made in the American remake, they made her a little bit more sort of smitten with Daniel Craig's character.
Right.
As opposed to in the original, it's the other way around.
Yeah.
The guy is more taken with her and she's just kind of like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, so it's different.
And would you say, I know this is a weird point to make, but I feel like this is one of the few moments where I feel like it kind of speaks to the character, even though it's that kind of moment. You remember like how she basically comes on to Blomqvist in the Swedish version?
I forgot how she did.
Yeah, she just kind of runs in and she's like, I don't even want to say
No,
it.
remind me. Oh, no, go ahead. Say it. What does she do? Because I forgot. It's been years since I've seen it.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, it's kind of one of those things where you can tell that socially, like she doesn't quite know how to navigate, but she's kind of like ready. I have to rewatch this thing too, but it was almost like it happens and she knows, I think she's aware that he kind of is into her and she's kind of like, okay. And she kind of is there and he welcomes that, but it's very kind of like awkward and it's like it's so weird to say, but it's like she kind of takes control for a minute and is like, okay. And then she's like, all right. And then she just leaves out of the room. And in the remake, the way they do it is more, I don't want to say conventional, because in the new one, she kind of walks up and then she pulls.
She just starts undressing.
And then all of a sudden, all of a sudden that is out. So it's kind of similar, but the way that they engage with each other during that moment is different. To me, what was interesting about the first one is that you could see the way you could kind of see her personality and her mind as that was happening and how she didn't really know how to navigate this, even though she wanted to have it happen. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I feel like I would like to go back and rewatch them because I've only seen them once. In the American version, I've seen at least 3 times.
Yeah.
And I was telling Arturo that I felt like the portrayal of her character in the American version, as far as her, so like in the original, she just seemed really badass to me.
Right.
Her character. And in the remake, she's badass, but she also seems extremely awkward.
Right.
And she also comes across as a bit more intimidating to me.
Right. In the new one.
In the new one, like in the the one from 2011, like she looks. It's weird. Like Numi did a great job, but her portrayal just felt totally different.
Yeah.
Than the one in 2011. And the one in 2011, I get more like, oh, she's really like more intimidated vibes from her.
Because I was going to say also, I think it's part of the way that they have her look. Her look is a little bit more intense in the
with the bleached eyebrows.
Yeah, and the hair. Yeah, the design. I was going to say one thing I really love about that, and I thought it was funny that they reused it in Ragnarok, but I really love the intro in this film. Like when they show, like when Immigrant Song is playing in the background, and then they show.
Oh yeah, I did.
And they show everything springing up out of like that black goo.
Oh
and
yeah.
And they show image. I think they're kind of hinting at images from like the other books. Like you see flames, you see like very specific things from like the other books.
Oh, I didn't catch that, but yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, but I've always thought that intro was. I remember I was sitting in the theater. I was like, what is this? Like, it was so like weird and
couldn't
bizarre, but I loved it. It was so interesting. Yeah.
I really wish we could have gotten the rest of. I
I'm
wish we could have
still-
gotten the rest.
I
Yeah,
am
that's
still
perfect.
mad about it to this day. Ugh.
I felt like we were left hanging at the end.
Yeah.
And I wanted more. And I felt really bad for her character at the end.
Yes.
Oh, it's like, of course you would see that, like,
Those are the worst moments to me in any film where like there's a misunderstanding and it's something that happens like it's something similar. Was it Gone with the Wind? It was something else where there are all these moments where this woman is actively pursuing this person because she thought, you know, they were going to be married, this and this and that. He ends up marrying someone else who ironically is very fond of her. But there are all these moments where she kind of throws herself on him and it just so happens no one else is around. Then later on, when she's actually married and they've kind of moved on and they're having this moment where they both have kind of matured, and her especially, she's kind of grown and she's able to kind of approach him with a different perspective. But he mentions certain things about the past. And so she actually gets very sad when he says that. And so she kind of like turns away and she's, you know, trying not to think about it. And so he goes to like comfort her. And of course, it's in that moment that two people walk in. They're like,
Right. Yeah, exactly. I know. I hate those setups too. Because like, of course. What are the chances though? Okay. I've never seen The Bridge. I saw parts of the American remake, but I think The Bridge is available on Acorn, which I do have membership with Acorn. And
do you like that?
Say what?
You like Acorn? I've heard about it.
Yeah, I like it. It's got like a lot of UK and European, also some stuff from Aussie, some Aussie shows and things like that. But I don't watch it very much. I watch more things like Netflix and Hulu. But I was like, oh yeah, I need to get back to Acorn.
Yeah,
because they have some really good shows on there.
Okay,
including The Bridge, I believe, and they also have the original, the original The Killing. They did an American remake here, but it was based on something from, I don't know, like Sweden, maybe. I can't remember. Somewhere over there. So did you have any more films to talk about, Arturo?
I have one, if not.
Okay, he must have stepped away. Yeah, go ahead.
Limitless with Bradley Cooper. It's the one where he ends up kind of test driving this special pill. And it does something cognitively to him. And he's able to kind of amass all this knowledge and all these resources. It's like it kind of changes how he functions as a person.
Yeah.
And he's able to make all this money. Like it's like all these possibilities are certainly unlocked. And it starts to kind of change his life as far as, what he's able to do with money. But the problem is, as with any kind of medicine or pill or anything like that, you come down off of it. And now he's like, oh, hey, I want more. And it starts to become complicated when his body can't quite function without it. And you can even see the difference as far as the visual, because it's like his regular life is kind of gray, kind of blah, kind of whatever. And then when he's having the pill, it's just like everything looks like sunny and beautiful and happy and all that. But yeah, and they take some, like I said, it gets significantly darker because it's like, oh, it's cool. You get to, yeah, I agree. So it's kind of like they go beyond that idea of brain power and things like that, but it starts to kind of turn on them, and it's some interesting kind of twists and turns as we go on.
Yeah. I think I saw that a long time ago, and I often get that mixed up with there's a Nicolas Cage movie maybe called Knowing.
Oh,
Like where he can see the future and all these different possibilities. I get those mixed up all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't remember much about Limitless.
Yeah, that might be another one. See, every time I think about so many different films, I'm just like, watch party.
I know, right? I want to see all the things. I know.
Yeah.
Kind of. Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. They kind of do a similar thing there. They kind of take it to a far, like a more of an extreme in that one. But yeah, it is kind of a similar concept as far as where they start out in Lucy. Yeah.
What was the one with I also get this mixed up with another film, which I don't think they're at all similar, but it's the one with Chris Evans and Dakota Fanning. Is it Chris Evans and Dakota Fanning? And it's called, was it called Push, or is it somebody else in Dakota Fanning?
I do remember Push. I remember there was a novel called Push, and there was supposed to be an adaptation, and they changed the name. And I remember seeing like, well, what Push is this? So yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I don't even know what year that was, but
I think it was 2009. Oh, so did they have like superhuman abilities?
I think so.
Oh,
but I don't remember what types of abilities they had.
Yeah, it says they're using like a drug to enhance their powers to create like super soldiers.
Oh, okay. I don't think I ever even finished that movie. I think I started it, and there was something about like the style of it. It just didn't really appeal to me, so I just never finished it. Right. It's kind of one of those I've had in the back of my mind to try to give it a second chance, but I never. There's so many things. There's so many things to see. Yeah. Anyway, there's different ones I've got written down, but just ones that I had thought about maybe trying to watch. I saw Source Code years ago. Did you ever see that? We saw that in 2011.
It's like, it's weird because I remember it, but I don't know if I remember it just because someone was watching it. I don't know if I actually saw it. I mean,
it has Jake Gyllenhaal.
I don't think I actually saw this one. Yeah, but I remember. Yeah,
I was not. I wasn't happy with the way that one was.
Why?
Because it takes this turn you don't really expect, and it was I just didn't. I don't want to give spoilers in case you watch it, because it's not exactly what you think it is, and then when you find out what's really going on, it's like, oh damn, that's terrible.
Yeah,
that's awful. So,
there's also War Horror.
It's been forever since I've seen Scream 4, so I don't even.
And see, I remember liking Scream 4, but I've never been, because of the way it worked out, you know, age and everything. So when the first two came out, like, of course, I was creeped out by, you know, a lot of the stuff I saw. But then, you know, Scary Movie came along.
Oh, gosh.
So that probably kind of disrupted any. And of course, I was starting to get older at the time that came out, that the parody came out. So I think that kind of threw things off. Never saw the third one. I remember watching the second with one of my friends, and it was a lot more intense than I expected it to be. So I think by the time we got to 4, I was like in college, and I was so far removed from the kind of the franchise that going into it, I actually enjoyed it as is. But I can understand that would be different from someone who experienced the first, the second, the third, and now this one. Because I think I kind of heard some mixed things, but I actually enjoyed it a lot as someone, just as a kind of a slasher, kind of film. Like, I thought it was fun.
Yeah, I've enjoyed all of them for the most part. I'm not super in love with the franchise. Obviously, to me, the first one was the best, but you know, I'm looking forward to this next one. We'll see. I've heard about some spoilers, so I don't know.
Would you say 3 is bad? I haven't seen it.
It's been a while since I've seen it, but I just remembered that I enjoyed all of them. Like, I didn't utterly hate the sequels.
Right.
Just I have the perception, or I knew as I'm watching it, that I felt like the first one was the best.
Right.
But
and that's kind of the thing. Once you kind of like make your mark the first time, even if you have even a halfway decent sequel, it's
hard to measure up,
replicate that same magic.
No.
Did you like 5?
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, but I had issues. Okay, especially did we talk about this?
I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah. When a certain person dies, and then you find out who the killer was, and it's like, no, there's no way. No. So that sort of, and I can't say for anybody who hasn't seen it, but yeah, that was kind of like, but then this character also did stupid stuff too. It's like, why are you going? Why? No, because then you know what's going to happen.
You knew it.
Why are you doing the very stupid thing that it was told to us in the first movie? Never do such and such, or because of all the horror tropes. You're doing this horror trope thing. You know this is going to happen because
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's like, it's like, and it's almost like they were trying to, whoever wrote that, it was trying to be funny because it was like, we stop right here and it's just like, I'll be back. I have to handle this. I was like,
you dummy.
No.
Anybody seen War Horse?
Oh, okay. So hold on a second. I saw parts of it, Arturo. Maybe when they watched it at Buddy and Deanna's house.
It was all right. Not very memorable for me.
Yeah, I don't remember much about it. Just that Benedict Cumberbatch was in it. But
no, the guy that played Loki.
Yes, and somebody else too was in it. That we recently saw a movie with. But what is the story? What is the actual story that influenced the Scream movie? Do you guys know?
No, I thought Wes Craven just made it up as it's.
Okay, Jeff, I'm going to be awaiting your answer because I don't know if I've heard this before about something inspiring or influencing the Scream movie.
Yeah, it's kind of like when, I mean, not literally the same, but I remember I was surprised when I found out that the actual doll behind The Conjuring was a Raggedy Ann doll.
Yeah, it's just a Raggedy Ann doll. It doesn't look intimidating at all.
Or does it? That's the question.
It doesn't look intimidating.
And I'm wondering if it's one of those things where, because I understand why what is it, Annabelle? I understand why she kind of looks the way she does, but I'm curious then, do you think it's kind of the same thing with the Tim Curry Pennywise versus the new one? Do you think a more horror-ish or scary looks worse versus something that is kind of non-scary looking, but also evil? What do you think?
So if we're going to talk specifically about the dolls, I think the movie doll looks much more effectively scary than the Raggedy Ann doll. That does nothing for me.
Okay.
So I don't know about you, but like there's no creep factor at all with that doll. For you, is it for you?
No. I don't mean it like that. Like, how what I'm curious is, do you think would that ever work? That's why I was using Tim Curry as an example, because he looks like a regular clown, whereas the new Pennywise obviously looks like some kind of entity, So do you think it's possible for that to work? Or is it possible, if not with the doll example, do you think it works with other films?
Okay, so I was trying to think of something where like a person or entity or whatever, like let's say a baddie, isn't intimidating looking, and does it work? I was trying to think of an example of when that worked. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but something that is coming to me is thinking about the Batman and the Riddler.
Oh, right.
When he had that mask on and that creepy voice, and he's skulking in the shadows and he's doing all this stuff, that was intimidating. That was very creepy.
Right.
And then as soon as the mask came off and he just looked like this schmarmy little Joe Blow wimp, that completely erased all of that. And for some people, they said, no, that was actually effective because he looks like some people that do some of the most horrible things, they just look like the absolute opposite. But when I saw him, I was like, I can't. I'm not intimidated by you anymore because of the way you look.
Yeah. So you prefer,
in like movies, for me, the visual, like, just, I don't know, it does it more for me than someone that doesn't look maybe so intimidating. If someone can throw out an example of an effectively intimidating or scary baddie that didn't necessarily look intimidating or scary.
It's a good question.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think of one and I can't off the top of my head.
Yeah, and that just randomly came to mind because it's one of those things that I think is interesting, because I think for some people they do think that something that is not inherently creepy but is still evil or something like that. I think that unsettles some people, and they find the more obviously horror thing less scary. But then some people feel the exact opposite. So that's why I was curious. And I actually have just thought of an example.
Okay.
And maybe this isn't the best example, but to me, especially when I was younger, it definitely disturbed me. I don't know if you've seen Interview with the Vampire.
I have a long time ago.
Yeah, but Kirsten Dunst as Claudia, she disturbed me.
Oh, she's creepy.
Yes.
Yeah, she was disturbing because she was how many hundreds of years old in this child's body and capable of terrible things.
And then
That disconnect
insatiable.
there, yeah.
Yeah, and then insatiable as far as her appetite. Like she literally could not stop herself from her piano teacher, the woman altering her dresses, the guy at the doll shop. It's just like she just tore through everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a good example of something that could be effectively creepy and intimidating. Okay, Colin. But it's not wrapped up in a normal package. But in that case, I almost feel like you're getting into the territory of almost something that's like doll-like because she was so young.
Right.
So dolls are creepy. People think dolls are creepy. So this little tiny young child, that can be creepy in a horror movie, yeah.
Right.
So that's a good example of something like that. Yeah, low budget horror movies, definitely. To me, they work more than a lot of the
like
CGI filled. Megan was fun. She was intimidating and scary, but Megan didn't scare me on the level that, like, let's say a Michael Myers scares me.
Well, yeah, she was creepy because
she was creepy.
She has AI intelligence.
Yeah.
And she's a family-friendly character. I mean,
okay, so here we go. It was a murder spree at, I believe, Florida State University in the late 70s, early 80s. They had arrested who they thought the killer was until he struck again. Oh, that's interesting.
Wow.
I would like to find out more about that.
Yeah, I would too.
The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man from Ghostbusters. Now, see, he doesn't work for me as a scary, creepy.
The Gremlins.
He just, yeah, like he didn't work for me.
The Gremlins.
Was he scary or creepy?
To me? Well, see, the thing is, he was when I was younger, simply because I don't know, like the image was like, this is like a big, fat, jolly looking like piece,
marshmallow.
Like marshmallow
like
thing.
The Michelin Man or something.
The Michelin, exactly. But when he made, I was a little. It's weird because when I was young, there were certain things that should have scared me that didn't. But then there would be very specific things that probably should not have scared me. That was like
that did.
It was off-putting. It just it was very specific. Like there were a lot of things I could watch and be just fine. But I think for whatever reason, the way his face would contort, like when he would get angry and his face would move, I think that bothered me for whatever reason because it's like. I guess I didn't expect a character like that. I figured he was gonna just stay happy, and then I don't know. Maybe I didn't understand the idea of something like that suddenly having this scowl and making it that part creeped me out. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm not familiar with Mr. Ballin's stories. Does he? Oh, okay. So he talks about true. Oh, I'm gonna have to look him up because I like true crime.
I have been following like a lot of YouTubers that talk about like some of these like serial killers and stuff. One thing I watched last night, or yeah, it had to do. This happened in Japan, but like I don't know how the heck this guy was able to manipulate these people, and he was able to get the families to turn on each other and kill them. Ridiculous.
This was in Japan?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking on sending it to you because I thought it was like crazy what this guy did.
I don't think I've ever heard of
no, I mean, that's how I found about the Brabant killers is because I've been watching all these crime stuff on YouTube or just.
I didn't realize until recently that Lisa Loves would do true crime stuff on her.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Oh, so he says, Chucky, it's a friggin' doll stomp on him. I don't know why he's so menacing. I know. So I was rewatching Child's Play several months ago with my husband because he remembers watching it in Mexico when it came out. And so we're watching it and it's like, so Chucky's supposed to be scary, but at the same time, it's kind of funny because he is this little doll. And he just like jumping on the people and doing it's like all you had to do was just like maybe pick him up and throw him out the window or something. But he was able to attack and kill these grown people.
Right.
I know, it's kind of funny.
And I think that I need to go back and watch it because that's another one of those things where I think my cousins tried to put that on while we were having a sleepover or whatever.
And you were too young.
Oh my gosh. And like I said, any other, like, I don't know, I think maybe I was having issues. It's weird. Like I think that was one of those examples of those things that was disorienting because it was something that obviously just like a doll. But of course, as an adult, if anything, is more comical seeing some of the scenes, and I need to go back and watch the whole thing, but it's like where he's like cursing and talking like a grown man's voice. It's like, what? It's weird. Yeah.
Well, especially when he's running around, he looks kind of fun. I don't know. He's just funny.
Right.
The leprechaun is creepy. The leprechaun is creepy.
Oh,
I've seen depict. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, sorry. I was gonna say there was a scene from Leprechaun. I don't know if it's I'm guessing it's the first film, but it's basically one of the women. She answered the phone and she heard his voice, and he was saying all this stuff, and then all of a sudden she kind of jumps, and then she realizes his fingers are coming through the holes of the phone.
Oh,
that scared the mess out of me.
Did that scare you?
I was like, what? Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I remember Chucky throwing the babysitter out the window. I remember that. Oh, jeez, I swear.
Well, she wasn't expecting that to happen.
No, she wasn't. So I could see, all right, but I don't know. It just that movie was funny. It's more comedic to me than anything else.
Well, I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Ted Simon's here, but he did admit to me before the show started that he's a little high. And we all remember what happened the last time when he started speaking when he was high.
And it wasn't even anything funny.
I'm actually playing Counter-Strike.
Okay. He's just ignoring us. He's just tuning in just to hear our voices. That's all. Okay. Yeah, maybe we'll get him to tell us what his top 3 are. Maybe he won't laugh maniacally when we ask him this time.
Because I would like to move on to some of the shows.
Okay, sorry. Who wanted to talk about any more films?
I'm ready to do like my 5.
Oh, you have 5. You have as many as 5. Okay. I have just 3.
Oh, never mind. It's 4.
Oh, okay. I didn't feel super in love with this year.
Yeah.
So I have like only 3 that are, ones that I really enjoyed quite a bit.
I do want to mention some shows though, because there was some shows that started this year that we've watched.
Okay, we usually talk about shows after we talk about our top favorites.
All right, well, let's go.
Follow that. Okay.
Oh, where's Colin?
He went out. He said he'd be back, but he's been a while, so I hope he's okay.
Question, Sin. Did you like Cowboys and Aliens?
I saw it just once in California. Around the same time we saw the Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and I enjoyed it okay, but it wasn't anything that I was super in love with. Right. I kind of feel like I would like to rewatch it, and just to see if my opinion will change.
Yeah.
Some people really liked it, and some people thought it was terrible.
Yeah. I remember like being like right in the middle on it, to where like I think the concept is more interesting than the actual
execution.
Yeah, actual execution. And I think that ironically, because it didn't come out this year, I think John Carter was the next year. But John Carter actually did a great job to me of kind of having, even though they're not intersecting technically, but it kind of starts off with a very kind of old school Western vibe. And then you get this, this space sci-fi Mars centered story. And they kind of are putting the two together. To me, that worked better than what Cowboys and Aliens was trying to do.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I've heard people just have been very down on John Carter, and it flopped at the box office. But then I've also seen people talk about how it's actually a pretty solid film. And I thought I'd seen references to it, its adherence to the source material. They felt like it was a good representation. I'd never read the source material, so I had no idea.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it kind of it's hard to say. I don't know because I will say this: marketing it counts for a lot. and I don't know if they marketed it well. Because I remember even when I first kind of saw it, I was just like, they kind of made this big show of kind of flashing these images, and it was like John Carter, and I was like, but what is that? And what's the big deal? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think some of their marketing, like, because the thing is, I didn't know it at the time, but John Carter of Mars, or like the original book, that came out literally a century before the movie in like 1912. So, and I think the issue, to me, this isn't a knock on the movie, but I remember writing, when I used to write my reviews back then, I remember saying that the problem is it was ahead of its time, as far as its themes and ideas, but we've seen stuff like, because specifically there are scenes with John Carter that you've probably seen in Star Wars Attack of the Clones. Like the whole sequence when, the Jedi and everyone is fighting kind of inside the Colosseum pit. There are a lot of scenes in the aliens and the alien race. Yeah. There are some moments, because we've seen them represented in other sci-fi films.
You think they're like a knockoff of that?
Yeah, it feels like a knockoff, even though it's technically the originator. So I'll give it that. But to me, I think that it was a lot better than people gave it credit for. And I just think the marketing and probably the way they handled it, you weren't able to see it. But I was actually shocked, because I only saw it because my friend was like, there was nothing else to see. And I was like, okay, I guess.
Oh, so you saw it on the big screen?
Yeah, when it came out. Yeah.
I liked it. I did too. Yeah. And then I actually watched it again recently on Blu-ray at my dad's, and I think it's still pretty good.
Oh, yeah. I feel like I need to check it out again, because it's been something that I have had playing, and I wasn't just really involved in what was happening.
Right.
So
I think it's pretty good. I think I like the acting. I like the character. The story it's got some twists. It's got some good visual effects. And I think Dee had a good point where we have seen some of it. It's maybe doesn't feel like it's so original and crazy, but it is I still think it's like an above average sci-fi action adventure movie.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Maybe I will try to watch it again. I only want to watch all the other movies.
I didn't notice that on the 2011 list. Were you guys bringing it up for this year?
Oh no. I was asking Sin about.
He was talking about it was like another year. He was relating it to Cowboys and Aliens.
Yeah.
It seemed like it was maybe 2012 though. Like
it was 2012. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I was drawing a parallel between the two, because I was basically saying that Cowboys and Aliens concept was cool, but the execution of it was kind of it was very kind of right, kind of in the middle, where it was fine, but it really wasn't great, and I didn't necessarily have to see it again. Whereas John Carter, I felt like it this establishing story is something very Western-ish, and in that vibe and in that zone, and they kind of do, and actually even something towards the end circles back to the whole Western part. Yeah. But I felt like that film did a better job of kind of bringing the Western futuristic space vibe much better than Cowboys and Aliens did.
For sure. I hadn't thought of that either, but for sure. Cowboys and Aliens was kind of once was more than enough, but John Carter I enjoyed watching 2 times. I watched it again sometimes. So yeah, I think it was a much better, like Dee said, Western parallel was there. Not overtly what Cowboys and Aliens, but it did a better job though.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I'll try to watch that again.
I guess another one for a watch party.
I know, right? I keep making all these mental notes of watch parties that I want to do. One was the Tyrone one. What's it called?
Oh,
they clone Tyrone.
Oh my gosh!
Whenever that one comes out.
Whenever, my goodness,
know, right?
This has been a journey.
Yeah, we talked about Attack the Block. Arturo should probably try to watch that at some point. I think you would enjoy that.
Yeah, talking about it makes me want to rewatch it too, because man, that one really. And I remember hearing stuff about it, but it sounded so odd. And then when I finally saw it, I was like, "Oh, okay, I got it." I got it.
I want to do a shout out to Tree of. Oh, I just saw someone mention it. Tree of Life. which is a pretty good movie. It's mentioned a lot as like one of the best movies of the decade. It's a Terrence Malick film, which I've talked about. I love Terrence Malick. He can be really slow. Tree of Life, even for me, is too slow. Even for me, it's too slow.
Really?
And I couldn't. However, I will say this: there's a 20-minute or so sequence in the film, kind of in the middle of the movie. Kind of doesn't really have anything to do with the movie unless you really want to try to get metaphysical or whatever. But it's just 20 minutes of like the universe and life forming and just like cells, and it's a scene of dinosaurs, and it's so captivating and amazing. It's one of the greatest things I've ever seen in any movie. And it's like a 20-minute scene in the middle of this like 2.5 hour pretty boring movie about a family, which is, I wouldn't say it's a bad movie. It's just a little bit too deep and sentimental for me. Unlike some of his other movies, which I love, I've talked about. But I do think that universe sequence, it's almost worth checking. Just if you can stream the movie, just watch that part. I don't know if.
I wonder if that part's available on YouTube.
I just checked and it's not.
Oh, it's not? Okay.
There's like a 2-minute clip of it on there, but it's really absorbing to watch the whole thing. Obviously, I like to get high. Do that.
You know what the Tree of Life reminds me of? I'm sure it's not the same thing, but I'm really interested at some point in watching Boyhood, because that's the film they did where
they filmed it over a span of that many years. That kid,
right
as he grew up.
Linklater.
Yeah, so I'm really intrigued by that one because that sounds like
that's an interesting concept.
Right.
To do that, and you have to cross your fingers and hope to God that nobody dies in the meantime.
Right.
You know, because then you can't. What are you going to do?
Right.
You know, or that. And I don't know, like, if they had any sort of rules about people not changing too dramatically their appearance.
Right.
You know, that's crazy. I never saw it, but I heard about the concept, and I was like, that's actually really interesting.
Yeah.
To do that.
Simon hasn't talked much. Someone mentioned it. Why was Simon?
Well, I thought it was because he was high as crap, but he's playing a game.
Wait, what game are you playing?
He said what it was.
Counter-Strike.
Yeah, that one.
Counter-Strike. Is that a shooter game?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's just listening to us chat about movies.
You should play Mass Effect.
Kills people on the screen.
Sin, did you ever see Immortals?
No. Is that the one with Henry Cavill?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I should watch it just because Henry Cavill.
No, of course.
I've heard it was bad. I think that was one of the reasons why I wasn't super interested.
Right.
But no. Is it about mythology?
Yeah, I love Greek mythology. So it's about that. I think my only issue, because it's weird, because there are certain films where, even though I know it's a mixed bag, because they lean into something I really enjoy, and if they capture enough of it in a way that I feel like I can appreciate and kind of rewatch again, then I'll check it out. And that was one of those where because it's Greek mythology, a lot of it was just fun to watch because I know those stories and I grew up reading a lot of that. But I think that it's so stylized to the point where some of it feels
it's too much.
It's kind of like a disconnect. Like I like it, but it's so stylized that it doesn't feel real. Granted, it's mythology, but I'm saying it doesn't, even in the setting or whatever, it all feels like some kind of big painting or something like that, or tapestry.
Yeah. It felt like it could have been, there was some potential squandered, because the director did The Cell, and
right. I love The Cell.
Director. Yeah. And so it seemed like I was excited. That's another movie. I was like, oh, this will be cool. And again, it's like, it's above average, but it's just not like that exciting or memorable, I feel like. But that was just me, though.
Yeah.
Who else
really likes it.
Who else was in it?
I know Frida Pinto and Mickey Rourke, yeah.
Really? Okay. I thought that was
maybe I should watch it again. It's been long enough.
Was it 2011?
Yeah.
Oh, Stephen Dorff. That was it. Because I was like, and Luke Evans. Luke Evans was the other name.
That
He
was
the
him. I just really
okay. Yeah, I remember. Wait, what else did Frida Pinto play in?
Slumdog Millionaire, and she was in 2. She was also in Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Okay, that's what I was actually getting ready to say, because this looks like the chick from Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and I recognize the name too, but sometimes I don't connect the name and the face quickly enough. Okay, so yeah, I remember Henry Cavill. I remember Luke Evans. Those were the two main
Him too.
faces that I remember being represented in this film.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll watch it just because there's several people in here I do like. I like Luke Evans, obviously Henry Cavill, Stephen Dorff. Okay, I'll give it a go. I probably won't think it's all that great.
Yeah.
But
I think it's one of those where I think that between this and Clash of the Titans, I think they kind of have the opposite. I won't say issues, but I think you would like them for completely different reasons. Like, they're both Greek mythology, but I think Clash of the Titans is more of a, kind of like I don't want to. It's more of a typical blockbuster with the Greek mythology stuff. It's a lot kind of like brighter and action oriented. The character designs are cool. They have Medusa, they have the Kraken, they have all these different.
Oh yeah, I remember I watched that movie on the big screen.
Yeah. So so I think it's more. I love that one a little bit more because it's more the adventure aspect of it with the Greek tales being told. Like, that's why in the crew and the band and the creatures that you're seeing. So I like that one a little bit more. But I kind of like that Immortals with kind of the stylized vibe. It's very brutal and very bloody, which a lot of the Greek mythology does.
Yes, that's true.
Kind of like two sides of the coin.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody have any more shout outs for any of the other movies for 2011?
I think I've got 2 more I'll mention for my top, 3 or 4.
Okay.
I think we talked about, but I could do it then.
Okay. Did we want to talk about our top films then?
I'll start if everyone's ready.
He said release the Kraken. He didn't say bust out the Kraken.
I wish he had.
I know that would have been funny, wouldn't it? He said bust out the Kraken. Oh, that's funny. Okay, sorry. Who said they were going to go first?
I'll go.
Okay.
Because I guess 2. I'll do a top 4, and because we mentioned 2 of them, I would put Bridesmaids, my favorite comedy of the year. I'd put Sucker Punch just because I've watched it. I have it. I've watched it a few times. I really like a lot of the action and audio, soundtrack, visuals, and then so 2 movies we haven't talked about, unless we skipped. I know one of them we haven't talked about, unless we skipped Drive.
We did not talk about that. That's Ryan Gosling, right?
Yeah, Ryan Gosling, and the director I've talked about before. I think he's a pretty interesting director, Nicholas Winding Refn, who did the other movie, the Valhalla Rising with Matt Mikkelsen.
You had mentioned that one.
Like, this was his follow-up to that, I think, and I love it. I mean, Drive. I don't know if have you guys seen it?
I haven't seen it because Ryan Gosling.
I've heard of it. I thought.
I'm just not interested because Ryan Gosling. But I have heard of it. I have not. I don't know about D. Have you seen it, D?
No, I still remember the poster and the Drive being like this hot pink kind of stylized logo, but I never got to actually see it though.
Who else is in there? Is this the one Eva Mendes is in?
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
Is that when they met?
Yeah, now that you say that, I'm saying it sounds right. But I just remember Gosling's in it, and now I can't think of the name.
Hold on, I can check real quick.
What's his name? Albert Brooks. Yeah, Albert Brooks is a good role in the movie. But man, I really highly recommend Drive. I think it's
okay. No, it's Carey Mulligan, Bryan Cranston.
Carey Mulligan, that's the one. Oh, and Bryan Cranston's in it too. Yeah.
Ron Perlman.
And Ron Perlman's in it. Yes.
Okay.
I think Albert Brooks is the best though.
Yeah, Albert Brooks is
he's really good in that. But I mean, it's Ryan Gosling. It's not going to change your opinion on him. I mean, it's a classic Ryan Gosling movie. But I mean, it's got some moments that are pretty violent, but the tone is awesome. Nicholas Winding Refn nails this tone that few directors can, I think, which is just this dark kind of sinister, this underlying kind of darkness, tension to what's going on. And I think Drive really, it's like him right at his peak of doing that. And I just like, it's a short film. It has some really cool driving in it, as you'd expect. He's a stunt driver.
Right. And it says here he moonlights as a getaway driver.
Yeah. And it's some cool action scenes, and it's, dark, gritty crime stuff, kind of unexpected moments. And I just think it's great. I kind of want to watch it again. Just, it's one of those, just thinking about it and talking about it. It's been a while since I've seen it. Yeah, it's got some pretty brutal moments, but it's just like, yeah, I'm glad to see some people like it, because I think it's really good. Probably my favorite movie of the year.
Oh, wow.
So is Simon seen Drive?
I have indeed, yeah.
Yeah,
it was overrated.
You thought it was overrated?
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess that's fair. I mean, you could say it's shallow in a way, and it's got an 80s vibe with the soundtrack.
Oh, really? Does it take place in the 80s?
I don't think so.
Oh. Okay.
But I love it, man. I love it.
Oscar Isaac is in it.
Oh, I forgot he's in it. I don't think I even knew who he was last time I saw him.
Second role in 2011.
I'm sorry.
What was his other one?
Oh, Sucker Punch.
Sucker Punch.
Yeah, Sucker Punch. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Oscar Isaac's good. He's always in good movies. So Drive would be my favorite movie of the year. Then the last movie I'd put in is probably number 2. That's probably maybe after Bridesmaids would be number 3. Sam Sarah, which it wasn't in the top 700 of IMDb. So
wait, what's it called?
I know it's not well known. It's SAMSARA, and I don't know if you guys would like it. It's a documentary.
Oh, okay, because it's not coming up when I'm searching for it on this list.
SAMSARA, and it's a documentary with no dialogue. I've talked about it's the same director who had directed another movie like it and another movie, a couple other movies like it I really, really like. This one's maybe of the 3 the one I like the least, but I still love it. I think it's great. I wish there were a lot more movies like this where it's very contemplative. Where there's no dialogue. It's just imagery of mostly just stuff in the world of different places, human villages or cities or earth and nature, and it's just put together with the music and the imagery that you just kind of sit there and watch, and it provokes thought. It's thought-provoking in a way that's kind of free. Like it's not trying to make you think one thing, but it's trying to just make you think. And I really like it. I actually have a fun story about this movie too, like a little personal story, because I was living in LA in 2011. I moved there the summer of 2011. Sorry, and then so I would go to a weed shop down in kind of like like Hollywood, like by the Star Walk, and there's all these touristy things, and there's all the shops, and there's a weed shop, and I go in there, and you can do dabs of hash, and really stronger than weed, still weed stuff. But so I do that, and that gets me really high. I'm already smoking weed all the time. I do these dabs, and I'm like, it's the kind of thought. I don't like to feel like I can't get out of the chair. I like to at least be able to walk around and buy food. I don't want to not be able to function, and it takes me right to that limit of where it's all I can do to walk around and function. And it's very fun. And there's a movie theater, and I just kind of walk my way to a movie theater nearby the pot shop. I'm like, oh, let's see what's playing. And this movie is playing, Sam Sarah, and I'm like, I didn't even know it was in. I didn't even know it was in the theaters or that it had been coming out at all. Like it was like the new movie from the guy who did this other movie you love, and I'm like, wait, if it was one of those things where like that's too good to be true. Like I couldn't script it better than to walk into a theater at this stage and have it be like you didn't know this movie existed, but you can watch it right now. And it's like, you want to see it so bad. You know, there was like, usually you have all this anticipation, which I like the anticipation. But to something I wanted to see so bad, and I didn't even know it existed till right then. And I bought the ticket. I was so high. I went and saw it, and it was captivating, and I had such a great experience. So
have you seen it since?
No. And
okay, because I was just wondering how much of your enjoyment was really because you were high, or because it was good.
The day Colin was high.
I would remember if I was bored, though. I probably would have left if I was bored.
Oh, okay.
Honestly, because I had fun walking around the neighborhood I was in was fun to just wander in.
Here's the story about
it is those types of movies, though. I imagine it'd be a lot harder for me to watch sober. You know, it is.
No.
You want to be in a calm, relaxed state to watch them. However, you can get there. But
Colin.
I would watch again, though. I do think it's just something that there's not enough of. There's so many movies of different types, but there's not very few movies, documentaries I've seen that are like that. And so I would definitely, just because it's so, I like it. It's so rare to see stuff like that. If there was a bunch of movies like that, I probably wouldn't rank it as highly. But because it's such a unique thing, Koyaanisqatsi, the director of this movie, filmed Koyaanisqatsi, which I've talked about before, and that I would put that in top 5 all time. You know, so this is along that vein, not at that level, but still really, really good. And so there's my Drive is movie of the year for me. But that's
okay. All right.
And the day you got really high to see the movie.
And the day I got so high.
You saw this movie you never knew you wanted to see until you saw it. And then you loved it.
Yep.
I wonder I'm curious to know like what the employees were thinking of.
What? They probably didn't even know, or they probably see it all the time.
Yeah, in that neighborhood, I mean, within a 10-block radius,
we got another one.
There's a pot store like every 2 blocks.
Oh yeah.
Like, we got another
like
one
that
coming
in
in.
freaking Vegas too. Okay. Okay, so who wants to go next?
So I'll probably throw mine out because I'm gonna have to go in a minute.
You got work.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
You don't need work.
Yeah. So okay, so I'm gonna start with I guess 5 to 1.
Okay.
So my number 5 is The Devil's Double. That is starring Dominic Cooper.
Oh.
It's basically a story about. I actually didn't realize it came out this year. Just happened to notice, but basically, it's about this.
Oh yes, I have heard of this.
Yeah, it's about a soldier who basically ends up becoming like a political decoy or body double,
right?
For like the son of Saddam
Hussein.
Yeah. So it's a really interesting. It's a really interesting story. Dominic Cooper obviously is playing
two parts
characters. Yeah, and he does a really great job. And it gets really intense as the story goes on because we're dealing with a regime and a culture that is, you know, they don't play nice. I'll just say that. So it was a ride for sure. And I think his performance is what really keeps it going. At number 4, Attack the Block. Like I said, that was a very just unique, and there was a very unique experience. And I think part of it is that I really appreciate I appreciate some coming of age stories, and we don't always get to kind of see stories kind of in that particular space and with this kind of slant, and kind of taking this whole idea of you know, this neighborhood and this community and these creatures and these, you know, teens or kind of like kids kind of becoming teens and them having to kind of navigate this really messed up situation with some very scary, intense, you know, imagery and all that. It just was a very unique experience for me, especially as far as it being a British film. I hadn't seen one with this kind of perspective, this kind of lens, and this kind of vibe. So really, really enjoyed that. And of course, it was the early beginnings of John Boyega, which is always fun to look back upon. At number 3, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Even though I have love for the Swedish version, I do appreciate David Fincher's like vision with this. It's unfortunate it did not continue, but it's just like the way it's filmed, the aesthetics and the whole design, you know, the performances with the between the two leads, Daniel Craig and I don't know why I'm suddenly blanking on her name, even though I know it.
Is it Rooney Mara?
Yeah, Rooney Mara. Thank you.
Yeah, I usually blank on names, but yeah.
Yeah, and Rooney Mara. It's just I just think it was such a cool just kind of take on the story, and it doesn't diminish the story. It's just another interpretation of it. But like I said, bittersweet, but it's still one I can appreciate, and I think it's one of the better examples of how you can kind of reinterpret a certain book or a certain story and narrative, especially when there's already a pre-existing version, in the original language. Sometimes American adaptations just don't.
A lot of times.
Exactly.
But at least this one they actually did pretty well with.
Yeah.
Well, actually, did you know it? The guy that directed it was David Fincher.
Yeah, he just mentioned.
Yeah, the same guy that did Zodiac.
Right. Yeah. He just has a really good lens when it comes to those kinds of stories, especially like with Zodiac. Like it has a very there's this intensity and mystery, and there's a whole lot that he is able to kind of grasp with his direction. So I appreciate that. Number 2, Rise of the Planet of the Apes, the beginning of, I think, one of the best like reboot remake trilogies, I think. I kind of went in really thinking, especially from the trailers, that this was going to be something kind of silly. Even though the original Planet of the Apes made its mark, I think it's one of those things that seems really cheesy looking back upon it. It's kind of
oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah, like the mask, even though it was very much ahead of its time, but it's still hard to shake the cheesiness of it. And so looking at the trailer, I'm like, okay, I like the idea of this, but I don't know how you're going to make these CGI, apes. Like, how is this going to work? And there was actually this undercurrent of something a lot more serious. And I think sometimes that's all you need. You need to have characters you can root for. You need to have a story that works. You need to have writing and everything that kind of is going somewhere. And so seeing Caesar as this unlikely, hero, and seeing his journey starting from here. Then, of course, Maurice, who I love, just seeing the progression of all of that. I think it was just a really great start to that. So, of course, I had to throw that in there. And my favorite, still one of the zaniest, craziest experiences with the Spanish language film I've had, and I've had a few. The Skin I Live In.
That
Pedro
one.
Almodovar.
Woo! That was 2011. Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw that. Okay.
Wait, what was the title again? The Skin I Live In?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Sandy, you said you've seen it?
Oh, yes. Sí, he visto la película. Sí.
Yeah, I had no idea what I was in for. I remember watching, I think it was Ebert and Roper, and they had mentioned something about it. And they're like, people need to see this film. And we know that because it's Spanish language and because it's subtitles, that people are going to probably move on. But I'm like, this was an experience. And I just remember the image of this person in this helmet and this, this suit.
That suit,
like, what is going on? And then
what's going on?
Yeah, it was Antonio Banderas. Oh my gosh, these twists, the reveals, like all of it.
I was grossed out. I was like, I was so grossed out by the whole concept. It was just so unsettling.
Yes, and you get every detail.
Gosh.
You get every single detail. They don't skip anything. It's like, I'm not gonna spoil it, but I'm gonna say that scene where he walks in, he's like, I've given you each of these. You need to learn how to stretch this out, basically. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't remember that particular scene that you're talking about.
Okay. I'll just say that when he does something specific to someone's body, and he's basically saying, take these objects and get used to this. So
okay. Oh wow, I forgot about that specific part of it. I just remember what happened.
Right.
And it was just like, it was very unsettling.
Yeah, when you come back to it, like even the details, the character has to adjust to their new normal by doing certain things.
Yeah.
And I thought that was like crazy. And then you find out the reason why. But anyway, point aside, that a great example of why I love foreign cinema, because you can get some really unexpected, not even just zany and crazy, but just the perspective
Well,
and the lens
they
of
can
the
really go
stories.
out there, yeah.
Yes. But then you get just some different stories that you don't that you wouldn't typically get, kind of in American mainstream films. So that definitely had to jump up there as my number one.
I didn't realize
Cool.
that was a
Nice.
2011. I did watch it, and so I saw it, and I was like, okay, so who's this girl? And I looked her up, and I was like, oh, that's the chick who played in Wonder Woman, is the baddie, the bad scientist lady.
And which one?
The girl, the girl that Antonio Banderas.
No, I got that, but you're talking about the 2017.
Yeah, the 2017 Wonder Woman. She was the scientist lady with the half messed up face.
Oh my
That's
gosh,
her. Yeah,
that is her.
Yes, I know. That's
wow.
Because I saw it after I saw Wonder Woman. Because I had heard
Oh.
about it for a long time, and finally I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch it because it's Spanish language and I'm interested to watch it, and it's Antonio Banderas. I know who he is. I was like, who is this girl? Who is she? Oh, that's her.
And to be honest, I just thought about it, but I think what threw me off is she has that mask and the whole time.
Well, you see her face at different parts.
Because isn't she like disfigured underneath?
Well, she has a mask on. Oh, wait. You're talking about Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Sorry. I was. Woo. Yeah. She's disfigured, and her face is partially covered by a mask.
Yeah.
So that's another reason why. So like I knew she looked familiar, like I had seen her before, and that's why I looked her up. And then I was, oh, she's the chick from Wonder Woman. Okay.
Yeah. See, that's the only reason I wouldn't have made the connection, because they basically cover up her up the whole time.
Part of her face. Yeah.
Yeah. So
well, that's an interesting pick. That's a disturbing movie.
It is
for sure. I mean, I don't regret watching it, but boy, I'll never forget the twist on that one. You
Never.
Can't ever.
No.
So
you can't unsee it.
No.
Okay. Well,
now I'm like tempted to watch that, but I'm scared to watch it now.
Watch it while you're high.
Yeah.
There we go.
When you're high, it solves everything.
Well, great discussion, Dee. Thank you. I know you got to take off, but this was great, and we'll let you know whenever we do the next. I'm aiming for like last Monday or Tuesday of every month. I'm trying to keep on a schedule. So
and you've been doing good, because we had, I think the breaks in between were a little bigger before, and we've kind of
were before, because I was just kind of like, oh, whenever, and then I just always felt like, oh, it's so busy. But now I think if I just focus and I'm just like, this is when we're going to do it, then I can plan my schedule around it instead of my schedule dictating when I decide that I'm going to do it. Otherwise, I just might.
And remember to check instead of hoping YouTube
reminds. Yeah, maybe I should put like a community post or something. We're going to try to do these once a month, last Monday or Tuesday of every month. I just feel like that's a good thing to aim for. So.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And any potential future watch parties, we have to hammer down our next one. And you don't have to record if you don't want to, but I'm just saying, but if nothing else,
just to hang and watch. Yeah, we need to do so. I just wonder if it should be something that neither of us have seen.
It could.
I can suggest one.
What?
Come and see.
I don't want to see that movie. I don't want to see that movie.
I knew you were gonna do that.
Yeah, I don't want to see that movie. Artur, you're obsessed with that movie. I don't want to see it.
Well, no, I mean, it's
like a Russian. It's like a Russian. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, Dee, but it takes place during World War II, and it's this Russian. I think it's Russian or Ukrainian. I don't
Belarus.
Belarus, yeah. It's just about this kid's experiences in the war, and just it's really
an 80s
horrible. I heard like this stuff, and I'm just not always in the mood for war movies.
Oh yeah, it takes a lot out of you.
Yeah. So glad you could join us, Jeff. He's starting to miss you, knuckleheads, and hi, Colin.
You mean hi, Simon?
All right. Well, you guys have a good one.
You too, Dee. See you later. Bye. Wow. Okay. Did you have your top,
Oh,
Arturo,
it's
that you
raining
wanted to
over
do?
there.
14
It's
hours of
raining over in
continuous
Malaysia
rain.
right now.
Jeez. That's a lot of rain.
Holy cow!
Yeah.
Wow. Well, glad your power's back. Is it still raining?
I can't. Well, okay, maybe for a mudslide.
I was thinking, when he mentioned that, I was thinking about like California and how easily they get mudslides when they have a lot of rain
Then they
because
freak
it's
out
normally
over the
so
fact
dry.
that it's raining.
It's raining. Oh my gosh, we can't drive.
It's like I gotta get the bread and milk. They said rain. I gotta get the bread and milk. Oh my god!
Did you have your top 3 or 4 or whatever?
Make that 5 now.
Oh, okay.
So, of course, the last Harry Potter. And then Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Oh, okay. You liked it
then
that much.
Sherlock-
All right.
Then Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, I keep forgetting Sherlock Holmes is this year.
Lincoln Lawyer. And the girl with the dragon tattoo.
Okay.
I really like the girl with the dragon tattoo as well. I think we talked about it last time, so I didn't talk about it this time, but because I said, yeah, it's really good. Even though it's a different version,
I really like the version. Like Dee said, I felt like they had a really interesting take on it.
There are some things I liked better in the remake, though that's not a mark against the original, which is awesome. Like, I think I liked Daniel Craig better as the lead male guy.
Right.
I think, man, was it? Now I can't remember. Did David Fincher have Stellan Skarsgård?
Yes.
Because,
Yes.
yeah, I like Stellan. I love Stellan Skarsgård. So I liked him in it better. So it's almost like I wish they could combine the cast of the two. And
oh, right.
They're both good. Yeah, they're both good.
Well, I am curious to watch like the whole series of his books.
You definitely should watch. The originals are certainly worth watching. Like you said, Colin, there are parts about the American adaptation that I like more. Like I like the portrayal of her because she just had a more sort of unsettling and not unsettling, but like I felt like she captured Lisbeth's awkwardness a little bit more accurately than it felt like Noomi Rapace did, even though I thought she was great in the role, but Noomi Rapace brought more of a sort of badassery to it.
Yeah.
Whereas the other actor brought some badassery to it, but she also just seemed very intense.
Yeah.
Much more so.
Like she has
Asperger's
or something.
I think I liked the badassery more myself. They were both really good.
Yeah.
And I just love Noomi. She's just.
I do think that
I like her too.
With what was the guy that would give her money?
Oh, the guy that
whole scene is like, oh
that
my
was
God.
so. I saw the American version first, and then I went and saw I liked it so much I went and saw the originals. And boy, that scene is so disturbing. It's so awful.
Yeah.
And I warned you, Arturo. I said, you're going to see some stuff. It's going to be really disturbing imagery that happens.
I'm kind of like used to the fact that, well, this sort of crap happens every day.
It just felt so like grossed out, this guy, and you knew where it was leading. And she was just caught in this terrible situation.
Well, the second time that happened, I mean, she may not have been expecting what he was
she knew he was going to do something. That's why she had the bag there. Yeah,
but she had it all planned out, but she didn't expect that whole other thing to happen. But still, she had it planned.
Well, it's good though.
Oh yeah, the title. Don't let the title fool you. It's for a serious. It's like a dark crime underbelly. It's a badass movie.
Yeah,
I would like to make
really
stories like that.
Well,
I enjoyed it a lot. I like the part where she asks him at the end, this certain things have happened, and she goes to Daniel Craig and she said, "May I kill him?"
Oh yeah, may I kill him?
That was funny. She's like asking permission. May I kill him?
There are some.
Like, yeah.
There are. If you don't like, too dark though. I mean, there's a harsh rape scene. I think that's what they're talking about.
Yes.
The last scene you're talking, the rape scene.
Yeah.
Don't like watching that. And then, one of the killers kind of got someone. Whenever there are like people about to be tortured, talking about, I've tortured people here before. I'm just like, let's get this scene over with. Like,
yeah.
That kind of stuff is in there, which is almost too much for me. But the movie's so cool. that I can fast forward the rape scene or the the other stuff is they don't really linger too long on it. But
and then I liked when she shoved it
yeah,
into his hat.
when she got her revenge.
But yeah, I love that.
That was great. But I have 4. Well, I forgot there was one of you guys mentioned. I was like, oh yeah, that one too. I like that too. But obviously Harry Potter. I have Mission Impossible just because of the stunts that went on and here, just so intense. Yeah. And The Lincoln Lawyer, I really love that movie. And then obviously Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Yeah. I really, really enjoyed that movie.
Yeah,
so those are my top ones.
Girl with the Dragon would round out my top 5. I feel like just because it's one of those that's hard to watch, and some of those scenes I want to skip. But man,
I like the crime thriller, the atmosphere of it too.
Yeah, the atmosphere.
It's very, very dark. Very.
It feels like what a crime underbelly atmosphere should feel like.
Yeah.
It's not taking it lightly. Like it feels like a grim place you don't want to be. Like. And yeah, I think they're really good movies.
Cool. Okay, do we dare ask Simon?
Come on, Simon.
What his
Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
I don't have an answer. Everything this year sucked.
Not even Girl with the Dragon
this year.
Seriously,
what?
Simon?
Yeah.
Or are you just high?
No, looking at this top 10, Harry Potter. Never seen any of them. Transformers, Back to the Moon.
But there's a whole bunch of other movies, Simon. It's
and
not
then,
just
even after that, it's like.
So you didn't like The
Guard?
Guard?
It was all right.
You didn't The Guard?
Not even The
Guard?
Guard?
Yeah, it was all right, but like it was not. I just say it was no.
You sound very exhausted. You sound
no
very
love
exhausted.
for Greenland.
Everything just kind of meh this year.
You feel kind of meh.
Even the Dragon Tattoo remake, you were meh.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
What?
See, I feel kind of meh about the year in general, but there are a few films that I really did like.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue that too hard. I wouldn't argue a meh for the year too hard. I mean,
I wouldn't say it's a meh, but like for film and stuff, like there was a lot of good, outside of films as well. When it comes to other like entertainment media, I mean, a lot of good stuff came out this year, but I guess. The year wasn't really my favorite, just because my my OCD was really bad.
Yeah.
So 2011 is kind of like a meh to me.
Wait, let me give one last shout out. I meant to. And
okay.
I don't think anyone talked about it. And again, this is maybe if you're an Owen Wilson fan, it goes a lot further. I think Woody Allen's best movie came out in 2011, and because it doesn't really feel like a Woody Allen movie at all. It's like, I think if you didn't know he wrote and directed it, you would never guess. It's called Midnight in Paris.
Oh, I've heard of that. I've just never seen it.
It's really good. It's really good movie. It's like a feel-good, kind of fun, happy movie, and Owen Wilson's perfect for it. And he kind of like magically goes back in time. He goes to a bar or something, I think, which somehow takes him back to like this time where there's like a real-life time where there's all these like artists and like, poets and singers hanging out at the bar, and he's like, I'm hanging out with all these people, and then he's like, it's a real feel good movie, and yeah, it's one that I think even with it's weird that Woody Allen wrote and directed it, because I would never guess that. Like, he's not in it, and it doesn't really feel like his more like talkative kind of wordy comedies or whatever. It feels just like it's like a really great feel-good movie, and I would recommend that. That's another one, man. It feels wrong to put Dragon Tattoo above that. Like I could probably watch Midnight in Paris over and over again. It's not great.
Kind of like Hugo doesn't feel like a Martin Scorsese film.
Yeah. But I should give a shout. If no one's heard of Midnight in Paris, I mean,
I've heard of it, but I never saw it.
If it's on,
probably because. You say it's feel good and it's happy, and that's not like I'm not typically drawn to stuff like that. But also,
you don't want happiness.
But also Woody Allen, I'm just like
that's the thing. That's why I almost feel like I wish I wouldn't. I don't want that to turn you off, because it's the least Woody Allen movie of any Woody Allen movie.
It says it was his. There's this article that says it's his biggest hit. It passes 86's Hannah and Her Sisters.
Yeah. wouldn't be
It's got
surprised.
it's got a really big cast. Rachel McAdams, Adrian Brody, Kathy Bates, Michael Sheen,
if it's on, give it
Tom
a chance.
Hiddleston.
If you could watch it, I think it's fun. It's a fun movie. And again, I think Owen Wilson. I love Owen Wilson, so that's maybe part of the appeal there too.
You know, Stan, just for picking on Colin, you might as well just watch it for him.
Just watch it. You'll like it. I don't know. All these movies I'm looking to stream, and they're all like, none of them are on my services.
Well, should we move on to TV shows real quick?
We can. I'm in another asthma study, so I need to pop out for just a couple minutes to do this, diary stuff and everything. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Then we shall wait.
Carry on.
We shall wait.
We'll look for TV shows.
Okay.
We'll get started.
Yeah.
Or we'll wait. Okay, you said we should wait. I'll tell you what you say. We'll start looking and have a pre-start.
Yeah.
On TV. Oh, I see a big one. I just clicked on IMDb. I think we got something to talk about for 2011 television.
Oh yeah.
See what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, this one too. Mm-hmm.
I think we might have a couple things to say about it. I think even Simon might.
Majority of this stuff Sin has seen.
Simon, you think you might have something to say about TV? Simon, let's go. Simon.
Game of Thrones, baby.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, the one that will make Sin mad.
The big one, the greatest show ever. Also,
well, it was
a bit of a disappointment. It's like I
ending.
can't erase the fact that so many of my greatest, I love that show so much for so long. I can't just forget about that because the ending sucked. I can't. Some of my favorite moments of TV were Game of Thrones. And I'm still a huge fan. For my birthday, I got the illustrated history of the Targaryen reign by George Martin. I love the books. I've read them a couple times. I'm still excited for the next book. I'm a huge fan. I do think they ruined the ending of the TV series, but it's not enough for me to just forget about it and move on. I'm still a huge fan of the whole series and George R. R. Martin's work.
Well, I know Sin. She's trying to forget it.
I know Sin might not. Well, I thought maybe we could talk about the good times, man. We could talk about the good times.
See, here's the thing. She was wanting me. She was suggesting I watch it, and this was just before the last season came out. And
you never watched any of it?
No, I never got around.
I heard y'all talking.
I know.
Oh my gosh!
Never got around to it, and then when the whole thing happened, it's forget. I guess it's a good thing I didn't waste my time and energy.
Let's make this a happy thing. Let's talk about our favorite episodes or moments before it all went downhill. When we were all loving it, couldn't wait for the new each week. What was a highlight for you where you're like, this is my show?
Oh my gosh.
Well, I know what I've got. That's why I got the question, is because I know my answer. Do you guys, Simon, you watched it, right? Do you have any highlights of it?
Game of Thrones?
Yeah. Did you like it for a while?
Yeah, the bit where
I loved it for the first several seasons.
Don't make it terrible. Khaleesi.
Where she's like, yeah, old Valyrian is my mother tongue, and then Dracarys and burns the slave master, and then frees all the slaves except they follow her.
Yeah, that was badass. Yeah, that got me going. That was a great scene. And the music, I love the soundtrack. Ramin Djawadi. I downloaded and listened to the soundtrack. That scene in that song, though, in particular, is a great moment. The soundtrack too. Oh man, that was a good one. That was a great moment. That was a great moment. Good. Well, I'll tell mine. I think one of my all-time favorite moments, just not for just the show, but in TV, was the episode "Hold the Door." Which
one, yeah, hold the door.
I won't necessarily give the spoilers away of what that means. Which, if you've seen it, that was a massive revelation in terms of the story, a twist you never saw coming. And
hold the door. Hold door.
The reason for the twist blew my mind too, where I'm like, but if Bran can do that, then that means, oh fuck. If Bran can do that, then what else? Like it created this new whole thread of possibility. And then in that do you know what I'm trying to say? Where it's I don't know if it's spoilers. People either you're not gonna watch or you've watched at this point. You know what I'm talking about. But it's kind of like during the Hodor thing when you're like, but if Bran can change the past, if he could change, affect Hodor before Bran was even born, then that means Bran can. Holy shit! Like Bran can affect the past. It's like.
But then it felt like it didn't go where you thought maybe it could go.
That's why I still have faith in the book. I think George didn't tell him what the Bran story was, and they didn't know what to do with it. Because to me,
you would think he would have though. If it was that important, he would have, because he gave him the backbone. He told him, and then they just threw it down the crapper. It still makes me mad to think about this show because, like you said, Colin, you can't think about it without knowing how it ended up.
I know, but I still like thinking of that episode the first time I watched Hold the Door. It's a great memory. And for that reason of like that possibility of my brain, like, where's this thing going? Like, I thought it was crazy enough. Also, I wanted to say that episode where you find out that children of the forest, who there's this whole time like they're the magical elf people, like they're just like elves. They're these happy little forest people, and of course they're great. Of course they're the secret good guys. And then it's like, it turns out we created the White Walker zombies because we were trying to kill the humans because they were trying to kill us. And you're like, the elves created the enemy, like all the zombie army the elves created, and Bran can change the past. Like that was, oh my god, dude. I still remember how exciting that episode was, where those two things happened, and just, oh my god. And that's a moment amongst all these other like Dracarys, and there's so many moments in that show where I was just like, this show is fucking awesome. Like, I loved it so much. I looked forward to it so long. And that's why it's such an insult that they ruined the ending. It's like, so many shows have shitty endings, and I don't know because I never watched the show because it wasn't good enough to begin with. Game of Thrones was an awesome show.
Well, for a time there, it was like the best show I'd ever seen on TV, and like forever. And I got why people were so into it. And I'm kind of like you. Like a lot of times when things are super, super popular, and then I just feel like, oh, it's so bandwagony, and I'm just kind of turned off of it, or turned off from watching it. But I didn't start watching Game of Thrones until after it was out for a few seasons. And so then I started watching it like on DVD, and it was really, really good. And then I started watching it when it would come out, and then what they did with that stupid, like the character buildup of Jon Snow, leading you to believe it's going to be this big thing between him and the Night King, and then it's freaking Arya that comes in out of nowhere. It's like, what the? You just threw away all these years of character development for this little twerp to come in and be the one to kill the Night King. What was the whole point of all this? It makes me so mad to think about it. And then by the end of the show, I started to just not like Arya. I didn't like her anymore. I wanted her to die at the end.
No,
I didn't like Arya at all. I just did not. I started just not liking her. And Daenerys, obviously, so we were told that Daenerys was always going to end up the way she ended up. Okay. Mm-hmm. I could buy that in a sense, because you could kind of see moments where it was leading to that. But the problem is, in that last season or 2.5, they just wrote it so sloppily that when it happened to a lot of people, it felt like, what the hell? This is like so out of the blue and ridiculous, because they just didn't guide her there in a good way.
Yeah.
So it just was, they bungled it so badly. I'm still very, very angry about that.
I need to make this into a short now and just show the enragement of Sin's corner.
I'm so mad. My brother got me like the first 3 seasons on DVD, and it's like, I want to give them back to him. I don't want to watch it. Yeah, I don't want to see it anymore. I don't want to think about it.
Well, they'll be taking up space.
It's such a disappointment. It was such a disappointment. It was like, so they proved to us, the creators of this show, they proved to us that they couldn't write for crap.
Yeah.
Because the reason the first few seasons were good is because they had the books, the actual books to draw on, and then there were no books anymore. And I'm also pissed at George R.R. Martin because he's taken freaking forever to finish. I think he doesn't know how to finish it, Colin.
Yeah, I mean,
I think he made something too big and he doesn't know what to do with it.
I think I don't want to speculate, but I'm thinking the show kind of sapped some of the enthusiasm.
Yeah, well, it I had thought, well, the show is going to be so good, and I was liking the show more than the books because the books were getting too massive, just too much. And so I was like, the show was doing a really good job of taking important parts of it and giving it to us in a, condensed version, And so I was like, if the show ends up and it's really good, I'll be satisfied. I might not be interested to finish reading them or listening to them if he comes out with them. And then after it ended so badly, I was pissed at the creators of the show. And then I was pissed at George R.R. Martin for not giving them the proper material for them to finish this thing. So I don't even want to listen to anymore if he even finishes the series. I'm so mad at him.
No.
I'm just very sour, Colin. Can you tell?
It's not George's fault. It's not George's fault. Because I remember.
Okay. How long has it been since the last book?
What?
How long has it been since the last book?
Yeah, it's not George's fault. The show is bad.
Okay, he should have written the screenplay.
Yeah, I think he should
have.
They should have given that to him.
I will speculate a little bit, but I know that like he wanted and I think expected like at least 10 seasons, and when they were and I heard because I know he's probably not really allowed, and I think he's professional enough that he's not going to start bashing people openly. But from what I kind of read between the lines is, he had a meeting with an HBO guy, and he was really trying to get the show to go for longer. I think he knew there was no way they could end it in 2 seasons. And I think that when that happened, it was out of his hands, and he was like, oh, God damn it. They're going to spoil the ending. And I think it's because he thought the show would go longer. He would have more time to finish it. And then when it's like, well, we're going to rush off ahead with the outline you've given us, he was like, well, fuck, now I don't even want to finish. That's my thinking is that they rushed it. At the same time, he was kind of slowing down, like, oh, I have plenty of time. And then they were just like, no, we're going to do it in 7 seasons instead of 10.
I thought it was 8.
Maybe,
but it wasn't long enough, and I had heard that they wanted it to be like the 10 seasons. Was it HBO who cut it short, or was it the co-creators because they wanted to move on to the Star Wars stuff?
Yeah, it was. From what I read, is the co-creators were like, we're out. And as far as I know, if I'm HBO, I'm like, okay, we're giving the show to another team then. We're not just ending the show. So I don't understand what the thinking is there, where those guys are saying we're out, and then George R.R. Martin's like, he wants the show to go. The fans want it to go. Obviously, HBO wants it to go. So why didn't HBO just hire new showrunners? That's the question. I think that's because it was that those 2 idiots that ran the show that didn't know what they're doing. They just bailed. But the question is, why didn't HBO replace them? I think that is what doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's really aggravating. And another thing that was annoying, so after it was all done, and I was on YouTube, and I was watching some behind the scenes stuff, and they were showing the table read between the actors for the episode where Arya does what she does with the Night King. And all the actors like a bunch of little dumb seals. Oh, yay. Oh, yeah. And I'm like, you idiots. This is one of the worst writing decisions in the whole in the whole show. Because it just felt like they took Jon Snow and they just ruined all those years that they'd spent developing him. And another thing that aggravated me too was when people expressed their anger and their disappointment, then you had jokers like Peter Dinklage turning around and attacking the fans. Well, they just didn't like it because the white people didn't win in the end. It's like, what the hell are you talking about? It's just they're turning on the fans, and fans had legitimate problems with the way the story went.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that just the whole thing is just this sour taste in my mouth. I just can't. It's just it ruined it all.
Well,
yeah, it's too bad.
Ugh. It is too bad because this show was so excellent. I mean, it was so so good.
Yeah, I've never been more into a drama.
Yeah,
ever.
it was just I was totally into it.
That's what I've been feeling with all these like great products just being taken, and then they don't know what they're doing with them, and they're just demolishing them.
It feels like
Yeah,
it's
it
really
doesn't
rare.
Since because then as soon as Game of Thrones was over, they're like, okay, we got it. What's the next Game of Thrones? House of Dragon. Let's get it going. And they're like, you had it. You had the Game of Thrones, and you ended it so way sooner than anyone wanted you to. Why did you do that, HBO? Like, because it said, I heard like HBO wanted it to go, but then the showrunners didn't. Like, how hard is it to just hire a new showrunner?
I've heard they wanted to move on to the Star Wars thing, and that's why. And then they lost the Star Wars thing. They're not doing the Star Wars thing.
I hope they never work again.
Oh, I'm so bitter about them. Like, just I don't want to see anything that they do. I do
want to mention this though. This is the decade when a lot of great stuff, even classic stuff from the 80s, starts to go downhill.
Like franchises being like rebooted and stuff.
Now we're in the early stages. We haven't gotten there yet. Game of Thrones is doing good in this year. We haven't gotten through the rest of it yet. And then
you talking 2011?
Yeah, like right now we're doing all good until we get to like the midpoint of the 2010s. That's when it starts to go downhill.
To respond to this question, no, I'm not excited about plans because the stuff I heard about what they did on the Amazon series was just a huge turnoff. So I don't have a lot of confidence in whatever they're going to do going forward. I mean, maybe if they put Peter Jackson at the helm.
I don't know. I'm excited. It's not a reboot. They're doing more of.
It's like another. Yeah. It's not like they're redoing it. They're not.
Yeah, they're doing more. There's a backstory the dude wrote.
By the way, Steins Gate came out this year.
Yeah, they canceled Firefly. I know, that was a good show. Steins Gate was 2011. Okay, no, I was talking about Firefly.
And
I liked Rings of Power though, and I wouldn't say I'm excited about the new stuff. I'm curious what the trailer is going to look like. Like, it always has potential when they're drawing from Tolkien, but he didn't really write a lot. They're drawing it. The book they're drawing from is basically a book that's kind of like an outline for a whole bunch of books, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like there's a lot there, but it's not very fleshed out. So it really, the writing is going to be, the project's going to boil down to the writing. Like Rings of Power, it's not, I don't think the writing was great, but I don't think it was bad. So I liked the show overall. Not as much as Lord of the Rings movies. So did Simon, do you ever watch Rings of Power?
I didn't know.
Didn't watch it. Damn it. Watch it.
But since Steins Gate, we need to get back to that.
Yeah, that it came. I know.
I mean, cause Matt says it's really good. It's got really high ratings.
I'm not as into anime as live action. I know, but
it's an anime that you actually are into because it's time travel.
Yeah, I know.
It has to do with all that. What was it? What was that time travel? the soldier that travels.
What was his name? I forgot his name. John.
Yeah, I forgot his name, but it had to do with that 2000.
Was it Lipton? I forgot his name.
That computer, I remember when we did
the IBM computer.
Yeah, we did that reaction to that one episode that we had to go back. We had to circle back because we actually missed that episode. I know you really liked that. That had to do with the computer.
Yeah, I recognize that computer.
and
my day.
Yeah, we really need to get back to it because I was enjoying it with Matt.
I know. I need to get back to Cobra Kai.
I
watched 5 seasons of Luther in like 3 weeks.
I'm thinking on just starting to Steins Gate by myself. I can't even finish Cobra Kai. I want to see what happens.
Yeah, a lot of anime stories. I know. I get that. Anime has some pretty interesting storytelling.
Yeah, see, like here's the thing. There is one bright spot in the 2010s. So while everything was going to shit, like by that point, anime was still thriving. Manga was doing well. And it's all because our industry over here shifted in this crazy, bizarre place that Japan was like, well, we're just going to give what people want pretty much. and that's why it's. I mean, like, look at Demon Slayer, the manga.
Oh yeah,
like
you gotta
comic.
you gotta catch up with that if you're wanting to watch the movie on the big screen.
Yeah, I'm watching the second season right now, but like that book, like demolished, like just the book series itself demolished the comic industry by late.
Yeah, manga's
by
doing
the late
better
2010s.
than
It
comics.
just. And then and you know how people say, "Oh, we need like female right." Well, a woman wrote Demon Slayer.
A woman wrote Full Metal Alchemist too.
Yes. A woman wrote Inuyasha. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
We already got talent here.
This I was gonna mention. Did anyone watch Bob's Burgers? It's a pretty good.
I only heard about that because the movie came. There was like a movie that came out recently.
There was. Yeah. I saw also the scene like where his daughter's like driving slowly through the parking lot, and he's like, "For the love of God, turn away or stop." Hit the brake. Hit the brake.
It's a good show.
Unfortunately,
it's still on. It started in 2011. It's still. It just got renewed for 2 more seasons, and I think it's a good show. It's a kind of a feel-good show, but it's funny and I like it. It's a good.
I think the art style.
The art style is a bit of a turnoff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the art style. It's not a show I love, but every once in a while I'm looking for something to watch. I'll put it on.
Did you see the movie?
I haven't watched the movie yet. I'm not a big fan, but I keep going back to it. I've ended up watching almost the whole series. I haven't caught up on the last couple of seasons.
I do like DC's art style though, like their animation.
I want to watch the Flashpoint movie.
There was also Revenge, the show.
Oh yeah, I started watching that, and then it got just so soap opera-y and ridiculous that I lost in soap opera-y.
There's a show. I'm curious if you've watched this. Actually, if any of you have watched this, Black Mirror.
I have heard about it, but I have not seen it. But I've heard talk of it a lot.
Arturo or Simon?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm curious. What do you
think? A guy called Charlie Brooker who used to work for a magazine called PC Zone back in the day.
Yeah.
When like 99 when Quake was around.
Really?
I know.
He was a gamer review guy?
Cartoonist.
Cartoonist. Okay. So what do you think of the show?
It was basically the Twilight Zone for the 21st century.
Oh,
that's a great way to describe it.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say that.
It's a show that it's like, man, I love the concept, and I love so many stories. It's the kind of show I really like where I've seen them all too. I just kind of binged the whole thing in a weekend, I think, and it's just so the first episode is so disgusting. Actually, that's a funny story that Ted said. My friend showed me the first episode, and I was like, "Are you kidding me? Like, why are you showing me? This is so stupid." And he was like, "No, it's pretty cool. Keep watching." And I'm just like, it not just so disgusting. It felt like it was insulting my intelligence, and that's the problem I have with Black Mirror is that it's really interesting. But it always starts off with like, oh, this is a cool concept. Whereas this kind of creepy sci-fi, they always have this creepy sci-fi vibe, modern kind of society, dystopic stuff going on, and they always start off good. But then by the end of most episodes, I feel like that was stupid. Like now that I see the whole story, I feel like they tricked me with some fancy. So it's a weird thing that I feel about because I do kind of like it. It just got renewed for season 6, and I am looking forward to watching season 6 because I think there's a handful of episodes that are great, that are really, really, really good that I would watch again. There's some that are just pretty good, like maybe it's kind of stupid, but pretty good ultimately. It has good acting or something cool about it. And then there's some that I'm just kind of like, it might seem cool, but some like the first episode's a good example. There's other ones where it feels like it's almost, I felt like it was patronizing for them to think that I'm going to get so caught up in, ooh, isn't this creepy, that I'm going to forget that it's also really stupid. You know what, if that makes sense? Sometimes things go down that vibe where you're like, oh, aren't you so scared? I'm like, No, because it doesn't make any sense. Like that kind of thing. Oh yeah, but the first episode is the worst, almost the worst example of that. So it's weird because I didn't watch the show again for a couple years because of that, and then I was really bored one time, and there's some previews for other episodes that look cool, and they do get a good. Every once in a while, be a cast to get its guests. You know, every episode is different. I don't know if I mentioned that. Yeah,
you didn't, but I knew, like an anthology type of.
Yeah, like every episode is a different cast and story, and it's worth watching for the good ones, and it's not like the really bad ones. I don't know how many. There's probably as many really bad ones as there are really good ones, and then there's a lot in between on various levels. It's just something that it's different. You know, every episode you're getting a new crazy story, which is enough that it's fun to watch. I think it's like I weirdly recommend it, even though the first episode is bad, and there's other episodes that are bad where I get almost insulted, where they think like, oh, the viewer's going to be so creeped out and freaked out by this scenario that it's almost like they don't think we'll think about it at all. And it almost makes you think, did they not think about it at all? Like it's very shallow, but it poses as deep. But at the same time, there is some cool shit that actually is kind of like touches on the issues of the day and technology and stuff. So Black Mirror, and it just got renewed for a new season, which I will be checking out.
Wait, someone mentioned I wanted to bring this back up again.
Oh yeah, Impractical Jokers did come out. Yeah, I was going to mention that because
I love that show. I just haven't seen it in a long time, but it's so much fun.
Joe, is his name Joe? He left though.
Joe, yeah, he left.
Yeah, but I remember when you guys watched the first episode. It was whenever they were doing that fast food restaurant challenge, and was it Q that like had to freeze with $1 bill or something?
I don't remember that.
And he's just sitting there. He's just frozen, and the guy.
the first episode I ever saw of Impractical Jokers might have been like episode 4. I can't remember the exact number, but it was the one where they made Sal go digging around in the elephant poop for his keys, and then they had the keys the whole time. Have you ever seen it, Colin?
No, it sounds funny.
Oh my gosh, Impractical Jokers. So it's like these 4 friends from Long Island. And it's they're not actors. I mean, they're like, it's like a reality type thing. So, okay. So you know the show Candid Camera? You ever heard of the show Candid Camera?
Yeah, I thought it was like a bit from a show. I didn't know it was like a show.
Candid Camera was like where they would they would hide cameras in public, and they would play these tricks on people. Like put people in these weird, awkward situations to see what they would do.
Right.
So Impractical Jokers kind of takes that concept and it twisted around a little bit in that they're not necessarily, they're kind of playing jokes on the people that have no idea what's going on, but the jokes are mostly being played on the guys that are involved in carrying out this thing. So there's like these 4 friends, and they have these competitions to see who's going to win. And by win, it means like whether they get somebody to do something or like, and if the person won't do it or can't do it, then they don't win that competition or whatever. And so what they do is they put their friends in very awkward and embarrassing situations.
Okay.
To see if they will say such and such and do such and such. And it's like so socially awkward.
I would probably like that.
And it's like, and you can tell like you get to know these 4 people. There's Sal, Q, Joe, and Murray. And
what did that air on?
It played on True TV, and they still play it. It's on still all the time. They still run it on loop pretty much, and they still continue the episodes.
Is that like a channel, like one of those channel, like a free to watch?
Do you have cable?
I don't have. Well, I don't think I haven't watched cable channels for so long. It's just streaming stuff.
So like True TV
do actually have some cable though, but it's a cable channel.
Yeah, it's a cable channel. Like True TV it used to be Court TV. Now it's called True TV. And but there's
Netflix or Hulu or anything.
I don't know if there's any. I know they have DVDs of it. I don't know if
I'll
there's
look for
any
it.
streaming. But if you go on YouTube,
On YouTube.
they've
Oh.
got some. They've got some clips of some of the episodes, like some of the little funny things that they.
Nice.
Yeah, there's new. Oh yeah. Okay. So, Arturo, were you putting the? Hold on. Okay, hold on.
Wait, Ted said he binged the whole series. How did you binge it, Ted? How did you binge the whole series?
Binge the entire series. Well, it's still going on. So maybe because they came out with DVDs of like, I think I bought the first 4 or 5 seasons or something. Yeah, I know they made a feature movie, and some of the guys have they've come to my area, but I didn't get it. Like they do like stand up sort of stuff as well. On Netflix a couple of years ago. Oh, okay.
Maybe it is on Netflix.
The new episode with Bret Michaels was really good. See, I haven't seen a lot of the newer ones, but just the situations that they put each other in, it's really funny. And sometimes, and they know how to push each other's buttons, and they know what their friends like won't do. So they'll try to put them in that situation to make them do something that they don't want to do. And sometimes they'll just like refuse to do it. And if they refuse to do it, then they lose that part of the competition. It's funny. And then whoever loses overall, they have this, the punishment. Yeah. This is what Dulcimeris is saying. At the end, there's a punishment to really embarrass the person who failed the most during the challenges. One of the punishments was they made Murr. I think it was Murr. Was it Murr, Arturo? They made him have to go skydive.
Skydive.
Okay, they got some of it on Hulu.
Nice. So, Sal is a germaphobe. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Well, I've seen that Sal dude before.
Yeah.
Maybe on YouTube or something.
You probably did. That one where he had to dig through the poo was hilarious, and he's like gagging.
There's only 3 seasons on YouTube. You said it's been on for like
it's been on since 2011. So
they just have 3 seasons, but they've got like a bunch of episodes.
You'll get a taste. You'll get a taste.
Cool. I will check that out.
So it's really funny.
I do hate to interrupt, but we do have just a few minutes.
Yeah,
so
I know. We got like 15 minutes.
Wow, that was fast.
Sin to Blue Exorcist.
Oh, I like that show, that anime, actually. I really did like that one.
The one about the son of Satan wanting to fight Satan.
Yeah, that was a fun show.
Yeah, I really like. I heard they're coming out with a new one.
I like that more than
SAO.
SAO, yes.
Yeah, I do too. I heard they're coming out with another one.
Yes, I heard that as well.
Hell on Wheels.
Oh, that was a good show. I never finished it.
Yes,
Have you seen that, Colin?
No. Is that a spinoff of Sons of Anarchy?
No, it's about the construction of the transatlantic railway. It follows this.
No, you know what? My mom watched that and told me it was really good.
It was really good. I just never finished it.
And yeah, it sounded good from what she was saying. Like,
I want to get back to it.
Action, historical fiction, or
And then another one here, Sin, you've seen Grimm.
Yes, I started watching Grimm. I never finished that either, but I would like to finish it. That was a fun show.
Then there was The Killing.
That was a good show too. Yeah, that was. I
Teen
like
Wolf. Teen Wolf.
I liked Teen Wolf until it started getting sillier and sillier, but that was fun. The first season was my favorite.
Oh, there's a pretty funny show I see, Portlandia.
I've heard of that.
It's a sketch comedy show, and it's funny. I mean, it kind of pokes fun at like Portland hipsters, but it's one of those things where sometimes the satire starts to feel like what it's making fun of, or it's kind of like, I like making fun of hipsters, but it's starting to feel like now I'm just hanging out with hipsters because it's so much like making fun of that type of person that now I'm just like, well, now I'm just watching hipster. Like, it's a weird line where it does have hysterical moments though. For a sketch comedy show, it's pretty good. It has some really good moments.
Homicide Hunter Lieutenant Joe Kinda.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's on Investigation Discovery. It's a true crime thing. He goes over his cases. That I enjoy that.
There's an X-Men anime that came out this year, along with the Wolverine anime and a Blade anime series, which I do want to watch those.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't see the Blade anime.
Blood Sea.
Okay.
That came out. And I'm sure you've heard of this, Future Diary. That's usually like another one that you haven't heard of that, Future Diary.
It's not ringing a bell.
Well, it's an anime, but I thought you would have heard about that.
No.
Hunter x Hunter.
Oh yeah, Hunter x Hunter.
2011 Hunter x Hunter. Dead Man Wonderland. Thundercat.
Are you just talking about animes now?
Yeah. Fate Zero. And Gossip. I think that's pretty much it.
Jeff Goldblum. Okay.
Yeah, Jeff Goldblum's really good on Portlandia. When he's like selling like a tangled up like headphones, he's like, look how the wires are tangled, like it's art or something. Like, oh man, there's a joke that cracked me up. I can't remember the name of this older dude. He's a comedian. He's got like glasses and kind of reddish hair. And dude, this joke cracked me up so much. Like I think Jeff Goldblum might have been involved in the skit. Sorry, I'm rambling about this, but it's something like he got hurt and they go to see the doctor. Like, is he okay? And I'm gonna screw up the line because the doctor is like, he's fine. He's just in a coma and his face is gone.
It's okay.
Something like that, where he's like, he's fine. He's just in a coma and is missing his face, or something like that. Where it's like the complete opposite of fine.
Right,
like,
right.
He tells you for just a second, he's like, he's fine, and you're like, okay, and then he tells you that, and it's just dumb humor like that. Yeah, it cracks me up.
Sin, have you heard of? Did you watch Supernatural, the animation? That also.
No, I never saw the animation. No,
Okay.
I did not.
It came out this year too.
So all the comedy fans, I'll say again, on cinema at the cinema is the shit. It's free on YouTube, and it's a rabbit hole that is fun to go down. It is really, really. It's
on cinema at the cinema.
On cinema at the cinema.
That's the name of the channel.
Yeah, it's basically, for the most part, it's like a YouTube satire of movie reviews where they're like satiring, like
okay,
kind of like what we're doing, but the bad version. And then from there it spins off into like I don't know, bad music and TV made for TV show, bad TV shows, and it's just this whole little sub world of like,
it's an Adult Swim thing.
Okay, yeah, Adult Swim aired it a lot. A lot of it's Adult Swim, and most of it's free on YouTube. A good chunk of it, but it started in 2011 and it's still going. And this is how ridiculous it's gotten. Is when it started, I was like, this is dumb. I don't have time for this. And now I'm gonna spend $8 to stream the latest Oscar special live, because every year they're on their 10th annual Oscar special where they stream this 2 or 3 hour long improv comedy during the Oscars.
I found the playlist.
Yeah, there's a few The second definitive playlist is the ultimate one, but that you might want to skip a lot of the early audio only podcasts. But okay, Ted knows. Yeah, I'm glad it's amazing.
Check out the link that I put and see if that, because it shows people. It's not audio only, I don't think. It shows
the very first, the second definitive playlist includes the first. It started as an audio only podcast that reviewed movies.
Okay.
It did like 50 episodes, and then it became a short video series that like Adult Swim aired. So some of those playlists will include the 50 and the podcast would be like 2 minutes, and the reviews of movies are usually like they'll read the back. It's like reading the back of the box. They're like, Tom Cruise is in the movie. It's great action. 5 bags of popcorn. It's just the most shallow reviews you can possibly have, and they're always screwing up, mispronouncing names, and most of it's just personal drama of the hosts that are just idiots. And I would describe it as like, it's like cigarettes, because it's like bad. You don't really want it, and you somehow get addicted to it, and then you still feel like you can't recommend it to people. Like, you don't want this. I can't get enough of it, but I can't describe the appeal of it. It's not good. I don't want it, but I love it. It's like that. Sorry, I just finished like it. It took me almost 2 months to binge the whole thing. Like I just finished the other day, and I started back in January. So it was like an epic. It was like I guess that's over a month. It took over a month and a half to binge the whole thing.
Well, if you find any other playlists besides the one that I posted, maybe share them in the Discord. I posted one of the playlists that I found. And then I checked out this one that Dulcimeris was talking about. I've never heard of this show, so I just I looked it up on Wikipedia.
Oh, I remember that now. Is that an adult's? Okay, I remember that from somewhere because it's like a spoof on those shows. It's a comedy that's spoofing those letter shows, and yeah, that was funny. I can't remember. Man,
Is that not the best one to start with?
I'm wondering if that's the one I'm thinking of. The NFTSF?
Oh yeah, he's saying yes. It's an on Adult Swim.
I think I remember seeing that. I want to see the cast for that.
So what?
That was pretty funny.
That
is so good. That is the one. Yes, that is such. I forgot about that show. It's really funny. That's a really fun show. Really funny show. Really good. I forgot. Now I want to go watch that again.
I wonder if that's even available anywhere.
And that is 2011 for you.
Oh, Karen Gilliam was in there.
Karen Gillan, Martin Starr, who's pretty funny. Paul Scheer. On Cinema.
Children's Hospital, that crazy show.
Well, real quick, in the last minute, I'm going to post that On Cinema playlist. Because actually, I found like 3 playlists. And the one that's the second definitive is the one that I would say is really the best.
Okay.
And it's like it said, it starts off like, I don't really like this. And after a while, it goes to the last couple years has been paid content only. And I was like, I'll pay $5 for a month to binge all this in a month, like happily. Like that's how it really hooked me. There you go.
All right. Thank you.
And you can just skip all those audio if you want to. And it starts off real like way more subtle than it becomes. Like there's over 300 videos on this playlist.
Oh wow.
And so the videos start at like 61 in season 1, and by the time you're on like season 10 or whatever at the end, it's almost like a different show, but the core of it remains the same. The core of it is it's just a stupid waste of your time. That's the core of the show.
Okay.
But it grows on you.
So you enjoy wasting your time.
Yeah, it's like
basically.
Cigarettes.
You should be writing your book, Colin, not wasting time.
I know. Yeah, this has distracted me.
Yeah.
The Oscar specials, though, are the best part of it. The Oscar specials really are the best part.
What makes them the best? Like what do
it
they
really
do?
It's like improv comedy. It's just like, and they're kind of unhinged. And Tim and Greg are the hosts, and Tim is just like, he gets drunk, and he's kind of this. He's just a loud, ridiculous, aggressive person. And they don't know anything about movies, but they both think that they're experts. And they get all these guests, and it's like, it's almost like it's supposed to be made for TV. And it's almost like, how bad can we make this seem? Like, and it's really funny. The editing is actually geniusally funny by how bad they make it look. It's almost like no one could make it so perfectly bad. It's really funny in that way. But again, I don't want to hype it too much because it's something you could easily be like, I don't understand the appeal of this at all.
Okay.
Is it because you're high?
I'll check out some stuff on the playlist.
It's different though. That's cool if you check it out. Yeah, check it out.
Well, we got about 3 minutes now.
Less than 3 minutes, 2.5.
That's 2011 for you.
Yeah,
folks.
that's 2011.
I can't.
We did. We barely made it.
Every single time I'm like, well, I won't talk so much, and we probably won't run to 11.
Well, I mean, we just all kind of do. That's just kind of the way the conversation
back
goes.
In my day in 2011, I was a 15-year-old.
Back in your day, please.
Back in my day when I was a 15-year-old boy in 2011.
So the 2012 podcast will take place end of March. Yeah, last Monday or Tuesday of March.
I've got to find something to recommend watching.
Yeah. All right. So when I hit in broadcast, we'll talk about different things to make a list of.
There's
Which
gotta be at
I'll
least
never get
one or
around
two.
to all of them, but I'm going to start my list as soon
I'll
as
find
I
one. I'll find
hit
one.
end
later.
broadcast. Thank you to everyone who joined us. This
Yes,
was
Pat,
great
it's been
fun.
fun. It's been fun, Pat.
Conversation.
Simon was
Good
very
night,
quiet,
Ted.
everybody. because
Good
he
night,
might be
everyone.
high,
Thank
but
you so
don't worry,
much. See
he
you
will
in
not be
March.
high the next time.
I absolutely will keep you updated. You may have to just remind yourself to go check my channel.
End of month, Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, last Monday or Tuesday of the month is when we'll come back again.
We really.
Bye, everybody.
Back in my day, this social media platform was crap. Yeah, see, back in my day,